Happy Saturday after Thanksgiving. I hope you all weren't fighting with your family. If you were, I hope it was over something good and interesting. How's it going? Nice seeing you all again for a second time in a week. I know, shocking, right? I made 2 appearances in a week. No, but it's nice seeing you guys. It's nice being here with you all. And I am just ready to chat because you know what? I don't really have anything in mind today, no specific topic or guest, but I'm like, there's so much insanity happening in the world where we can go in any direction and see where this takes us. Except now I'm distracted by my hair in the shadows. But so yeah, so nice seeing you all. Let's see who's in the chat. I see Mr. Okel. I see Ada. Nice to see you guys. Thank you both for being here. So yeah, how was your Thursday? Any family feuding over current events? What do you guys say in the chat? Thankfully, in my family, we're pretty much on the same page, so there's no feuding happening. It's pretty much yeah, in exchange of ideas and information when we are talking about hot button topics. So what about you, Mr. Ogle? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you fight with anybody? And if you did, I hope it was over something mind bending, something eye opening. Drix at TGI Crypto, is that your Twitter? Is that your Twitter name? I always have trouble remembering. The whose Twitter name and whose YouTube name connect together. So if that's your Twitter name, thank you for putting it in there. Mr. Ogle, are you on Twitter? I'm trying to remember if we've interacted on Twitter. So it's not that I forget anyone. It's more like my brain can't make the connection between the YouTube names and the Twitter names. Hi Ada, thank you for coming in tonight. And Drix, I see you put a little alien in there for me. Thank you. Or at least I'm gonna pretend it was for me because I always like that alien imagery. The thing is, like in my view of that alien worldview, I believe that there's sinister entities that are out to hurt us. So people are like, well, why are you like into that alien imagery and those type of things anyway? But I'm like, it reminds me of like 50s sci-fi. So I love it in the aesthetic type way of that era of sci-fi, flying saucer attack, Rosillos, that type of thing happening. Hey Tin Top, what's up? How's it going? Mr. Okel says your Thanksgiving was very chill, kept the combos light and PG, movies and such. Okay, yeah. You stuck with the safe topics, I see. So, and I'm guessing that means movies and not like the documentary that just came out that everybody's talking about. So yes, it is. That's your future philanthropy page on Twitter. Awesome. So everybody go and follow Drix there on his philanthropy page. And that's the thing that I love about crypto. I feel like truly the most philanthropic group of people, like all those billionaires that are sitting out there. First of all, most billionaires, unquestionable about I find questionable their ties and how they got their money. Let's look at people like Bill Gates and Bezos. But on the other hand, like, I'm not somebody, who resents those people. I'm like, good for them. They built up their empire. They're doing what they got to do. But my question is, I'm like, why aren't those people more philanthropic? Because with all that money, you can make massive change with just a small percentage of your of what you're worth. So that's what I love about us in crypto is, we get our gains, but we're not just going to hoard it like those billionaires do. We want to do good in the world. So that is one of my favorite things about the crypto world. Hey, Brian, thanks for coming in tonight. How's it going? How did you, what about your Thanksgiving? Did you keep it light or did you fight? How about you, Drix? Were you guys causing problems at your Thanksgiving table, or your friends and family pretty much on the same page? I know it's no good to be in an echo chamber, but it is nice to sit at a table with people that understand what you're talking about and what you're getting at, and to not have that clash or people playing devil's advocate. But I also find, as it's been like the past couple of years, that it's I've always had friends of all different views, but people are a lot more intolerable about their differences in views now. So it's been right. all of a sudden people just went off the deep end. Hard to tolerate of people now. Are we all leaving the house less and isolating ourselves because you just can't stand people? I don't know. So Mr. Okel says, if you were a billionaire, this chat would be very happy. So you're saying you would, not to quote a controversial president, but you'd be spreading the wealth. You'd be spreading the wealth with everybody. That's what I always see too. I'm like, if I was insanely rich, I'm like, it wouldn't be just me that benefits. Why not have fun and everybody benefits? That would be my thing. So I am with you on that. So you had a great vegan meal. I know you want to rub in the vegan meal. Thank you for sending me that video, by the way. I haven't had a chance, but I'm gonna watch it. And again, I'm not denying the veganism. I'm just this is me for now. This is me for now. But I've been vegan in the past. I had a great vegan meal with your nephew and his girlfriend. Zoomed with your sister and brother in New York. It was nice. Hope yours was as well. Oh, that sounds like it sounds like a nice laid back Thanksgiving you had. Mine was nice and laid back and quiet. So unfortunately, my sister and her husband caught the flu. And it's interesting, very interesting. All of a sudden, the flu is back and everybody's got it. I have theories, but it kind of revolves around everybody destroyed their immune systems. Does anyone feel the same way? And those of us without destroyed immune systems are getting sick from the people with destroyed immune systems. So I'm not saying my sister is one of those people. They are the people who are careful about their immune systems, but unfortunately, everyone gets those careful people sick. I'm talking in code, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Okel. I appreciate that. Yes, this $4.99 would be $4.99. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And you know what? It's funny because like when I'm guessing that color means that it's like a super sticker, right? Instead of a super chat, but like StreamYard doesn't display it. So I always get a kick of going back later and looking and seeing what the sticker was. So thank you again. I really appreciate that. And again, are you on Twitter? I'm trying to or if you don't want to dox yourself, that's fine. I'm just trying to remember if we follow each other or not. So Drick says, my family is very chill. Holidays are awesome. Lots of laugh and calories. Oh, that's perfect. That's the way it should be, right? Nobody fighting each other, but they do sell those sweatshirts. Have you guys seen them? Ready to talk about politics at Thanksgiving or at Christmas or something. But I'm glad to hear that you had a nice Thanksgiving. Holidays are fun. I like laid back holidays. That's my thing. Maybe I'm a little too laid back, but I do like a chill holiday. And now we're already into getting ready for the Christmas holidays for those that celebrate and the Hanukkah holidays. So are you guys, those of you that celebrate, are you ready dragging out your trees? Because around me, everybody's already see all the cars with the trees on top. I'm like, everybody's getting an early start. My family calls me the Grinch because I'm not into that anymore. I'm like, I got a tree at the tree. But I'll behave myself. Didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's almost like, you know what I feel like? Before all this happened, it had crossed my mind, this concept, but I feel like we're seeing it come true. Human bioweapons, walking bioweapons. So kind of like the concept of, think about like a super bug, right? When we have the overused antibiotics, people tend to develop super bugs. That's how MRSA came about. It's methicillin, I forget how to say it, resistant Staphylococcus aureus. So you would have to use vancomycin in that case, which used to be a super really restricted antibiotic. They used to kind of keep it locked up because you used it in a worst case scenario. Now, because of superbugs, we've got to the point where, and again, this is, if you believe germ theory versus terrain theory, I'm just talking in generalities. I don't want to argue that because I believe it's a combination of the two. But, they used to kind of use it in a worst case scenario. But now we have VRSA, vancomycin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. So now, the superbugs have become more resistant, and that happens as a result of the overuse of antibiotics. So the interesting thing about that is, okay, the person overusing the antibiotics is not the only person that's affected, because they then pass on these infections now to the regular people who weren't abusing the antibiotics, right? So they kind of ruin it for everyone. So and I feel like it's the same concept happening today. People have destroyed their immune systems and they become a walking bioweapon. You know, these things, these illnesses that we don't see that often are coming back. It's brewing in their system and then they're giving it to everybody else. So yeah, it's like, and not that I'm saying be fearful and stay away from things, but it kind of makes you like hesitant to want to be around people. You know, and I don't mean like in a lockdown way, but I don't know. It's a lot to think about, but I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Oh, hey, Crypto Bigfoot, here to support another fellow Hexican. Keep doing your thing and reaching out to the UFO community. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Crypto Bigfoot. I like that. It's like, you know, because it reminds me, it makes my brain think of cryptid, but it's crypto. So, but thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Mr. Okel, not really on Twitter. Maybe you should again. Elon doing his thing. You know what? I like Twitter. Twitter is absolutely unhinged so that it is my kind of space. It's probably my favorite. It's my favorite social media. Like long before Elon came back. I'm a little suspicious about Elon coming back. But yeah, you know, is there good to come out of it? I don't know. I don't trust him, but whatever. I still feel like people are getting shadow banned, but I guess it takes time to fix Twitter. I don't know. But I would come on because everybody's just so unhinged. It's amazing. I love it because I follow a bunch of different communities. I follow crypto communities. I follow hex communities. Follow, high strangeness stuff, but I also follow like the unhinged fan communities of like Ted Lasso and Bates Motel and everything. And I love it. It's great. Instagram used to be my thing, but now Twitter has. I like hardly post on Instagram anymore. I'm like, everybody probably either thinks I'm dead. No, I post stories sometimes, or they think I gained 300 pounds and I'm afraid to put a picture of myself. Actually, the sweater makes me look like I gained 300 pounds. It looks pretty in the mirror. That's what it was. Okay, thank you. They used to call it the antibiotic of last resort. So you would take that was the big guns that you would take out when there was MRSA, when there was some sort of extreme staph infection. Now we've gotten to the point where now there's vancomycin resistant staph infection. So, and like, I think that, like I said, the same is applying to the walking bioweapon, the human bioweapon things. And then if you actually believe in shedding, then there's people are a bioweapon on multiple levels. So I don't know. Is that a little too much? Am I going to get myself thrown off here for saying that? Yeah, I don't think he's tweeted though yet. He came on, yeah, and he's back on, but not tweeting. But I know I was expecting a show too. He's very entertaining and does trigger. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but everybody on Twitter is triggered with everything. I think now, Katie Hopkins is campaigning to get back on Twitter. She was another one that was banned off Twitter. She is hilarious and entertaining. So yeah, so there's just a lot of entertainment, a lot of unhinged people in both ways. Unhinged, like funny, fun, and insane, but also unhinged people who are like insulted by everything. Oh my gosh. And then you get like people who you're like friendly with or friends with who start digging in your likes and then want to come at you for things you've liked. I've had that happen on more than one occasion. I don't know. Everybody's just out to get each other. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? If you're my friend and you claim that you're fond of me, then you got to accept the things that I like and what I do on Twitter, But I don't know. People like to start problems, especially if you think a little different from them. What is shedding? Are you saying that because you're trying to bait me into talking about it, or you're not, or was I too vague in my description? Shedding, like the people who put certain corporate pharmaceutical garbage in their bodies, and the body starts producing something that sheds and makes other people sick. Yeah. And I mean a certain protein. I don't mean the actual virus or whatever, if you believe in viruses. But yeah, so that's what I mean about shedding. Yeah. Not literal skin cells shedding. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you may have missed it. You were running around the last few minutes. Okay, now you got it. Okay. I thought this was like, okay, let's get her to talk about it. I thought you were trying to, yeah, bait me. Twitter is better than Facebook for sure. Talk about judgment, family on Facebook. Oh gosh, man, Facebook is like intolerable. Um, I mean, I have it, but I feel like I don't use it much. But sometimes, I look at people's updates. It's great for marketplace if you want to sell stuff locally. Um, yeah, I don't really know why I'm on there, but it's almost like once you're on it, I don't know, I find it hard to disconnect because then I feel out of the loop. And not enough, I don't know, enough almost, but I feel like I just don't know what's going on. So it's almost like our own version of news this day, where you use all the social medias put together to kind of get an idea of what's going on in the world that you're not going to hear through the TV. I feel like you just piece the three together. Hey, Johnny Hacks or Johnny. Oh, Johnny and okay, and hashtag Hex. I thought it was like Johnny Hex because isn't there a robot called Johnny something? That one from Short Circuit. That's what I thought. But yeah, hey Johnny, thank you for being here. All your high school friends now have babies. So oh well, I was about to say, well, how old are you? What's your age range? I'm curious because what I find interesting is that also varies according to where you live. Because I'll like see people in the early 20s saying that because they live in a different region of the United States. But around here, you could be like in your 30s, and most of your friends from high school still won't have kids here in the New York area. So it's really interesting to me how that varies from region to region. Yeah. Or who has 20 cats. That's an interesting way to see it on Facebook. I mean, no judgment if you like cats. All of a sudden they're making me sneezy. But yeah. So, okay. So you're over here like UFOs, ET, flat Earth, New World Order. Okay, you're 27. Okay. Well, you know what? These are important things to know about, regardless of whether you have children or not. I'm like, yeah, you're awake. Better to be awake and not be blind to what's going on. And speaking of UFOs, have you guys noticed that all of a sudden there's a huge uptick in sightings? Like I see them posted everywhere, all over on like different social media and stuff. And there were stuff that was supposed to be like taken relatively recently. And like for a while, the stuff that you would see on social media looked fake, but I mean, the stuff I'm starting to see is looking pretty legit. I ran out of time. I was gonna like screen record some stuff and put it on here, but you guys, I'll be able to find it. It's everywhere now, and it's to an extreme. So it's like, what the heck is going on? Are people just more interested in looking it up? Are people now working from home and home more and looking at the sky more? Like what, there's a ton of ways you could look at it. But it just seems like over the top different. And I believe that that's because sightings are ramping up. And I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it. People talk about like in the end times that you see more of these things in the sky and you see all these things that are going on, and in I don't know, Project Bluebeam, but my brain is going psyop. They're preparing us for something. They're whatever that they're in partnership with in the sky, or if they're actually projecting a hologram, whatever it may be. I feel like, or at least that maybe it's the same amount of UFO videos that there's always been, but maybe they're like pushing the algorithm hard so that we see more of it and we think there's more going on. But my take, I think there's more going on. And I think it's like some sort of psyop. They're trying to prepare us for something. I feel like they're priming us, just like when they start releasing the info. Oh, look, here's a little leak, or here's something from the Pentagon, and UFOs are real, and now they're not denying it. And but we don't know what it is, but we know that it's off this planet. Like, since when do they want to give us any info? So my view is they're preparing us for something. They're priming us so that they can stage something for whatever reason. They want to stage a fake alien invasion, and so that we follow their leaders and we unite to a new world order. There's a lot of ways you could look at it. Or I don't know. I had other ideas I was thinking of, but I just lost it. But whatever. Bow down and worship the aliens. I don't know. Or, here, follow these new laws. Now we have to do other lockdowns because there's an alien invasion. Whatever it is, I don't think this is just a natural, normal process. There's something driving it, and there's an intentionality behind it. Bit finesse. Are the pilots lying? Can we get a consensus on whether something physical exists? Personally, I think something physical exists. And I feel like the government is alluding to the fact that, yes, it's something physical that is existing. That's what, or at least that's what they want us to lean toward and believe. And I feel like we have seen evidence over time, like the Roswell. People have seen physical evidence from Roswell. There was actually, if you want to believe that it was real, not a weather balloon, I believe it was real because people were saying that they had never seen this material before. And I don't think it's like, oh, space blanket material, because people have still kept samples of it years later, and it's like nothing like anything that's ever been seen before. So I feel like we have physical evidence. There's been so many accounts over and over of the same exact like testimonies of things landing and being on it. So I feel like we see evidence that something real is happening, that it's not all projection. I do believe that there is Project Bluebeam, and they can be projecting to kind of make it look like more than it is, or kind of they're inspired by the phenomenon and they're going to make their own alien invasion. I sorry to repeat myself, but I definitely believe it's a real phenomenon, that it has to do with the Nephilim, the offspring of fallen angels, that type of thing. There's real tech happening, and that our government is in collusion with them. Algreda Treaty. I think I'm saying it right. I think that's what it is, where the government has made a deal with these entities saying, okay, cool, we'll be hands off. You do what you want. You abduct any of the people. Not that the government would have much power over these powerful beings, but in exchange, you give us your tech. You give us your technology, because the Book of Enoch does talk about an exchange of technology. So that's my view. They are prepping us to accept the concept for the next government lie. Yes, everything. If you look at everything in history, this always kind of seems to be a priming. Like even before the pandemic, there was like a priming in the media. Remember that movie Contagion? Like it kind of mimicked a lot of what was happening. So they're always, I agree. Seems to be a priming before something happens. Oh, thank you for being my 10th like. So anyone here who's not subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe, give me a like, whatever it may be. Hey, say a hi in the comments. I guess whatever that can boost the algorithm. So thank you. Thank you for being my 10th like. So the next, required to protect us from the violence. There's always going to be an excuse. Exactly. It's like, they're going to use whatever they can to push whatever lie or whatever they want us to do. The 2009, if you want to talk about aliens and things that go in your body through a pointy thing, the 2009. I haven't seen the 80s, V, but that, I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to say it again. I know that streaming contracts go in and out with whoever the studio is or whatever, that it constantly changed, but very suspicious that right around the pandemic, they pulled V 2009 from streaming, and V 2009 talked about aliens and jabs. So just saying, unpopular opinion, but I'm with the extra territory, benevolent, ETs coming in once shit really hits the fan. Assisting, not hurting, but IDK. I mean, it'd be interesting. It'd be cool if they were like friendly ETs helping. I mean, who knows? Who really knows when it comes down to it? We're just human. Sorry, I keep touching my hair. It's annoying me tonight. But I personally, I would always be wary. Even if aliens are coming in like the savior and they're going to help us and fight against the bad ones, I still wouldn't trust it. Personally, I'm like, I can't buy into it, because I don't know that you're not just pretending. Like, what is oh shoot, we talked about that that certain paradigm last week, where whoever creates a problem and then gives you the solution and they look like the heroes. I forget the name of it. John Davis was talking about it. Hegelian dialectic. There we go. That the aliens won't be doing a Hegelian dialectic on us too. Is it true that you're starting hot tub streams in Twitch in 2023? No, no, absolutely not. I do not own a hot tub. Sorry. Advanced tech could assist. Sorry, I'm cracking me up, Dixon. Um, advanced tech could assist us greatly. Yeah, I'm convinced that a lot of our tech, or at least a lot of our military tech, might be fallen angel technology that came through that exchange. And we've had that and I believe we're way more advanced than they let us on, and not through human ingenuity, through whatever exchange is happening. But but even if it is through human ingenuity, I believe we have so much advanced tech that's being held back from us. So many things could benefit humanity, but these people want to keep us in constant like oppression and enslavement. So they'll never actually leave it be and give it out to the public. They never want to be benevolent, unfortunately. So, the hot tub streams? Really? People really do that on Twitch? I don't know. I don't know much about Twitch. All I know is that people play video games on it. And I'm like, I would love to be playing some video games, but I'm like, I can't wrap my head around that. I'm like, who would come and watch me play video games? I don't, so I like, what do you talk about? What do you do? So I don't know much about what happens on Twitch. I mean, no. I mean, my brain isn't thinking of hot tubs. I'm just thinking of Twitch and video games. Am I digging myself in a hole? QC Organics, really enjoy your streams, Ash. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. And again, thank you guys for always coming back and not being like, she's off the deep end, I'm leaving. It's so fun to just kind of like bounce these ideas around. I love it. It's just like better than talking to myself because I'm talking with all you all. Like it up. Thank you, Toxic Hex Hog. Yeah, please like, subscribe, comment, whatever it may be. Thank you. That makes me very happy. Good point, Hex Hoddle. I feel like I should have done that now. What? You should have hit like on the stream, the 10th like. Well, you could hit like now if you haven't already. And thank you all for the likes. You know what? It was a harmless joke, but thank you for looking out for me, Brian. They're creating blasphemies in laboratories and experimenting with us in real life. 100%. One of my friends was tweeting today, and he's like, when they talk about doing stuff with the human genetics, when they talk about transhumanism, the WEF wanting to do things, he's like, everybody thinks it's like Captain America type stuff. Cool, we'll enhance the human body. But, he's like, in reality, it's not about enhancing the human body. It's about making you slaves, basically. It's about making you allergic to meat. It's about making you eat their nutritional sludge. So I believe I retweeted that today. And it's so true. It truly, they're messing around in laboratories and experiment. My chair is still squeaking. I am sorry, Brian. Yeah, and they're experimenting on us. That's all we are to them. We're like, the little test subjects. I was about to say cockroaches in a tube. I don't know what that means. My brain just thought it up. Rats in a lab, but that's all we are to them. That's the only reason they keep us around, because they can make money off of us. They can test on us. They can do whatever they want. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have long extinguished us. And I believe they are. Have anybody been watching? I'm going to have to type my hair. Otherwise I keep touching it. Anybody watched Died Suddenly lately? Saying. I'm wrenched. I shouldn't have laughed. Forgive me. No, what? Over the hot tub thing? No, it's all good. I'm good. No, my brains I was getting weird because my brains were, my wheels in my brain were turning. And I'm like, because you said Twitch, Dixon, and then I started thinking video games because I like video games. I haven't been able to play them in a long time. I want to revisit them. So I just started thinking about playing video games with people on Twitch. And, my brain went into a video game mode. Even though I haven't done that in a long time, the video games. I want to play Portal again in Donkey Kong Country. So you should read the comments on the YouTube page, not in streaming. Oh, you got rid of them. Oh, I see what's happening. Gotcha. Thank you. Hey, Crypto Heartbeat. Thanks for being in here tonight. Nice to see you. And congrats on everything going on with Texan Token. I made sure to claim mine. Really exciting stuff happening there. And everybody go check it out if you haven't already. It's a really interesting cause. I'm a New Yorker, so I cannot fathom the idea of a state being independent like that. But more power to you. And I'm not saying I disagree. I can't wrap my brain around it. Like that's wild because I guess Texas always was into that secession type thing. So the idea of it actually like potentially moving toward that is amazing. I don't think anybody in the Northeast would do that except New Hampshire. I think that's one of the last free state, the only free state in the Northeast. They can move injected magnetic nanoparticles around in your body with the magnet. Oh my gosh, I think they could do really. But if I start saying this stuff, am I going to get tossed off of here? But well, there was also that talk about 5G, and it sounded extreme, but the more talk that there has been about sludge and particles and magnetic things in these in whatever's going into your body. Like again, the 5G thing, yes, I know it's completely unhealthy. Most cell radiation is unhealthy, but especially once you start hitting that level of it, it gets really bad. So the interesting thing about that is now things are starting to piece together and you're like, oh, they have found these things that are nasty inside the suspension that goes into your body. And then maybe that is working together. Really makes you wonder, really makes you think. And the thing is, people want to dismiss this as conspiracy theory, but what's wrong with thinking? There's nothing wrong with pondering it, but everybody just wants to dismiss everything right away and be like, no, that's stupid. Okay, fine. It could be off base. It could be completely stupid, but what's wrong with thinking about it? But nobody thinks. You're not allowed to think. They train you not to think in school. So you got about 10 minutes into Died Suddenly and you couldn't watch anymore. It brought you all back and was starting to get mad. It is, yeah. That's my dad says the same thing. Like, it really starts to get upsetting. It starts to it makes you really angry. So maybe that's also a different male female response. Like I think men get really angry when they watch it, and females, it's like, yeah, it's frustrating, you do get upset, but I guess we're able to kind of put it aside and keep going with it. But I have seen, am I frozen? There we go. Sorry. Hold on, give it a second. There we go. All right. But yeah, I've noticed that a lot of men get very angry, and I don't blame you, men. It's, it's a disturbing situation. When Rags come visit here, you mean in the live chat or in the interview? Because I've seen him pop into the live chat sometimes. Let's see. Would I be interested in being a part-time on-screen assistant for Ben, aka BitBoy? Kind of like the models on The Price is Right. He would be your Bob Barker, if that makes sense. I don't know who BitBoy is. Is that that guy with all the? I don't know. I don't know if this is serious or not. I don't know what's going on. But if it pays, sorry, is that terrible? I guess I was sorry. I was complaining about my job earlier. I'm like, New Yorker. Yeah, am I talking very New York when I get all riled up? But I don't know. But we had that discussion on Wednesday that I believe New Yorkers are saying things correctly. But remember. So if you want to go into Wednesday, anybody who didn't see, I think it makes sense. Yes. Talk is probably said incorrectly. Walk, we can't say those L's. Dog, but other things make a lot of sense in the pronunciation. Bought, caught, coffee. You will welcome me down to Texas. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys won't throw me out at the border because of the way I speak. I've never been, but maybe one of these days I'll make my way down to there. I know a lot of people all over that state. You were debating the time out. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Okay. See, I'm like, I guess I'm a little oblivious to what's going on. You had to Google Bob Bar. Oh, See, I didn't notice that it was something rude. Am I just being an airhead? My mama called me an airhead the other day in a loving way. Um, no amnesty to all those that forced. Amen to that. I am not for this whole amnesty where the Washington, or sorry, the Atlantic is asking for amnesty for all those people that treated everybody else bad, and who banned people from going places and fired them from their jobs. Yes, I'm a Christian. You can forgive them, but I do believe in consequences and justice. So, see, I thought it was harmless too. I'm being an airhead, but it's all right. I probably have some form of ADHD, but I'm not going to worry about it because what the heck am I going to do about it? You're gonna read it anyway. Am I behaving like that guy from Anchorman? Oh gosh, or Joe Biden, right? In Anchorman, I'm Ron Burgundy, and they're like, you can't put a question mark because he's gonna read it as it is. Same thing with Joe Biden. What did Biden say? He talked and then he was like, pause or whatever, and he actually reads it out loud. I'm sorry. Whatever. Look up conjugated flavin nanoparticles. Scientists explain. Okay. I'm going to revisit that. And everybody else who's on here, let's go look that up. Let's go look this up. Listen, at this point, I feel like nothing is surprising what we're finding out about it. Okay. I'll reach out to him. I'll say, yeah, there's a request there. Actually, yeah, I had thought about it. I'm like, I wonder if he's into high strangeness too. You laughing at my airheadness. Anyone knows people that got sick after or died from illnesses caused by it? Yeah, so okay. Anybody know? Anybody in that boat? Because up here in New York, where we have a very high rate of that, also seeing a big spike in death. Interestingly, I was pondering today. I used to teach in one of the districts I used to work in. Like, there's a lot of people that died. It's like if I went back to work in it, I'm like, there's a lot of people that are gone or just like fled during COVID. It's weird. It's really weird. I feel like everywhere you turn, or at least around here, there's somebody very ill in an unusual way or dead. It's really odd. So we're seeing it up here definitely. And people like, oh, you want to assign whatever to it, and it's you just making an assumption because that's what you believe. No. This is a higher amount of people than usual. This is larger amount of people than usual. Very kind. Sure, she has a dark side though. Well, I guess that's what people do say about me. My dark side is that I'm nice and I'm polite, but then if somebody crosses me, then yeah, that type of that's my dark side. I have zero patience. Hey Hexglen. Oops, you got rug pulled. Coffee and chocolate chalk. Now chocolate I'll say is correct because OC, right? Chocolate. If you say it neutral, what is that? Chocolate? Doesn't that turn it into an A? See, the phonics seem off. Let's see. Well, I guess if I was behaving like him, but you see, like, I don't know. Because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't catch the thing. I guess that's not my era, Bob Barker. So, I didn't catch it. Hey, my online ghost. Oh, you're heading out. Well, thank you for popping in. Let's see. Rags is happy to come hang, I'm sure. No, I'll definitely reach out to him and ask. Yeah, and thank you for the suggestion about Rags. Every New Yorker has a dark side. Well, I feel like the thing is we could take care of ourselves. So I know that there's a reputation that New Yorkers are unfriendly and this and that and rude. But here's the thing. And I heard it put this way and it made sense. They're like, New Yorkers aren't nice, but they're kind. Other places, they're nice, but they're not kind. So almost like, New York will be a backhanded compliment. Like, they'll call you an idiot, but then they'll change a tire for you, that type of thing. So I feel like, we do have that niceness. It is, sorry, that kindness. It is a stereotype, the rude New Yorker. But the thing is, I feel like we can always take care of ourselves. That's what people joke about me. I guess, I'm 5'1". I seem really nice and everything, but people joke that, oh, don't worry, she could take care of herself. I'm good. No worries. I'll take, Ashley will take care of that. She'll take care of herself. With the with the road rage, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Am I road raging? Right? Isn't that, I heard that. When I heard that, I'm like, that's so true. Because if you're nice but not kind, you're fake. It's just like that whole, I'm nice to your face, but they're not really going to be nice. So here, there might be a rudeness and aggressiveness, but you're going to be, but at its core, people are kind and going to do nice things for you. And I feel like that some people don't always like understand that New York, I don't know what the word is, Bruce, that New York roughness, or there's a certain way of speaking. People don't always get it. Like I was in Nashville at a Walker Stalker convention, and there was this actress from the show, and she's very New York, very. And she didn't really have much of a line in Tennessee. And I'm like, I don't think people understand that New York personality. So because she seems very New York. It was hilarious. Like I like a typical tourist in Nashville, I went and I bought a really nice cowgirl hat and I wore it to the convention. To post a picture on Twitter. I wore it to the convention, and she's like, "Oh, that's such a nice hat. It looks expensive." And then I was about to say, "No, I got a great deal on it." And then she goes, "Good, don't buy cheap shit." That was very New York. Authentic. When I visited, I appreciated it. Yes, that's what I like about it. Authentic. Guy told me to move the fuck out of the way on the subway. You know what? No offense, Mr. Ogle, but it was probably warranted. Were you blocking the subway? Right? So they'll tell you. But here's the nice thing. If you were to fall as you were blocking the subway, he probably would have cursed you out, but he would have helped you up. But now I would not ride the subway. And here's the thing that's been happening in American cities, and I believe it relates to strangeness, to bring it back to some high strangeness. So we've seen the deterioration of cities throughout the United States under certain leadership, and it seems to have just increased exponentially during all the lockdowns and everything. And New York was one of those places that was pretty exempt from it, even though it's a blue state. The city was, or at least, there was the decades, 70s, 80s, where it wasn't so nice, but it turned around for a long time. And then now it's gone in the toilet again. Like, I don't go into the city. I absolutely will not be in the subway if I have to be in the city. And honestly, because even before things got bad, I stopped using the subway and I just started driving everywhere. But now if I had to step foot in the city, I would find street parking then. Now I don't care. I would pay whatever I have to garage it right next to where I'm at, because I do not feel comfortable. Most people around here do not feel comfortable. And you look at it and you're like, okay, high strangeness, conspiracies with the government. What is the purpose? This is intentional. This is very intentional. People can see the steps that were taken that have gotten us to this place where it's dangerous. And here's the thing. Our version of dangerous is still probably safer than other cities, but it's not like we're what it used to be. Like me, I could be by myself in the city at all times of night, in the middle of the night, and I was fine. Never felt afraid, But I wouldn't even in the daytime. I don't feel comfortable now. And a lot of people feel that way. So there's an intentionality to it. And then when you try to dissect it from there, what is the purpose? What is the conspiracy behind this? Because we know that all the conspiracies seem to be real and coming true. What happens if you deconstruct a city like that? What is the purpose? How does that lead to more control? Are they purposely causing people to flee? Is this a purposeful push to push people out of the blue cities into red areas to change their votes. Like, what's the deal? You guys have any thoughts on that? Exactly. You don't have to guess how we feel. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to say something, and then, a compliment wrapped in an insult, bless their heart. We're just going to let you know. Hey, Mango Junkie, oi, oi. Every time you say oi, oi, I always want to go Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. But as I learned, it wasn't that kind of oi, oi. But nice to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. So government letting it crumble to make itself necessary. Oh, I didn't think about that. Because then they get to step in with their programs, again, back to the Hegelian dialect. They cause the issue, and then they swoop in and look like the hero by offering a solution, which is interesting because Katie Hopkins actually addressed this in an interesting way. But let's hop back to that in a moment. You think people are waking up, the mostly useless bunch who make up government. I think they are, but I think now, well, I feel like it's theater. The government is straight up theater. So now people are waking up, but if voting is not real, if everybody seems to be pre-selected, then we're never going to get out of it. But what are the options? Well, I can't say that on Twitter. I mean, on YouTube, but yeah, that's yeah. Sorry, my mind has just went 10 places with that. But yeah, I feel like this has woken a lot of people up. It woke a lot of moderate people up, but there are people to the extremes on either side, in both sides, that tend to view government as a solution when I don't think it is. We know that it's not. I've never run into Casey Neistat's, but I used to watch his videos back in the day. Now I'm wondering if one of my friends said they ran into him. I don't know. Interesting guy. I guess he's still doing the video thing. I haven't seen his videos in a long time. So distraction. True. Because if we're all worried for our safety, and worried about not getting stabbed, we're going to be distracted. Well, and here's the thing. We had an opportunity to change out our governor for somebody who was going to make things safer, make things nicer. I personally did not like the guy that they picked. I think they could have chosen somebody way better. But okay, they chose who they chose. But look, people had an opportunity to change things, and they didn't vote for it. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But then again, if voting's fake, then Hochul was pre-selected, and I really do believe that voting's fake. I thought it was more on a national scale fake. I thought maybe locally we can affect some sort of change, but the results that came in for governor were very weird, very odd. Yes, I am starting a token. What is my token's name? The strange token. Yeah. I don't even understand the purpose of starting my, like when I forget, there's a certain type of token. I understand like bigger tokens, Texan, liquid loans. I understand starting those other tokens, but I've heard where, smaller people start their own tokens, and I'm like, I don't get that. I don't get how that works, but apparently people do it. Like, I forget the name of the website where people who have like a channel creator can just like launch and do their own token. Thought that was wild. But yeah, let's call it alien token. Is that too typical? It's not very creative. call it probed coin. There we go. Yeah. Oh, 100%. They don't care about us. The thing is, it's like, okay, are they the elite and they were pre-selected and then hated us? Or I'm sorry, were they elite who already hated us, who are pre-elect, pre-selected and then came into that power? Or were some of them regular folks that were, again, pre-selected? But then once you're in that position, it's like Animal Farm, and then they think they're better than everyone. I wonder which way that goes. You want a bloomin' onion? I have not had a bloomin' onion in a long time, but I remember eating it as a kid and it was pretty good, except there's gluten in it, the way they make it. Oh yeah, everything's theater. And the thing is, if you didn't believe it before, then there's no denying it now. But I remember being at a political event, election night in, I'm gonna tie up my hair, in 2008 when Obama won. And I think that was my realization. And I'm like, you know what? This is something's off. I'm like, this is not it. This is not like my brain was starting to get there. So I think that was like the beginning of my journey. And then by the time like everything else started rolling around year after year, I'm like, you know what? This is all ridiculous and fake. And then forget it. Once 2020 happened, I'm like, that was the confirmation. Let's see. Hey, David Lee. We were talking about Texan token before. I know, right? I keep wait. Tomatoes and popcorn? Oh, theater? Or are you saying we should like throw the tomatoes at the politicians? Because I'm good with that. Namaste. Nice to be able to watch the live stream. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight and being here live. And for anybody that does watch in the replay, thank you so much for watching in the replay. So I am happy to have you. So I don't want to butcher your name. Is it Diraj? Dirai? Maybe you can let me know how to say it in the comments. Oh, it's an inside joke. Yeah. No, I mean, I know it was a joke, but like, I was just trying to say that I'll have to find the name of this website. I found this really weird website where people can make their own tokens, and I found it very odd. Now this is going to bother me all night. Yeah. When I find that website again, I'll bring it up. Oh, but if I turn my head, nobody can see that thing, or I won't see it. There we go. No, still there. Solution, probably not to accept the media narratives and to show it when they keep up. Brazilians went in the street. So solution, yeah, don't accept the media narrative. Now, here's the interesting thing. I feel like people now are starting to realize that we're not being told everything. And didn't Obama legalize propaganda back in 2008 or something? But like nobody wants to acknowledge that. And yes, they'll say propaganda on the other side. They're always running the other side for propaganda, but not their own side. I mean, listen, I lean one way. I can blame my own side for their own stupid propaganda and their own stupidity too. So I don't, people don't want to look at their own whatever it is. Oh, perfect duck hole coin. Look, and I got the little duck in my corner because I don't want to pay for the actual StreamYard. Maybe one of these days I will. Excuse me. Hold on. I'm gonna grab something. Oh, that was an unflattering angle. I promise you I'm not as big as I looked on camera just now. Okay. Keep that back. I'm making myself absolutely insane. There we go. You know what? Everybody accuses me of being ADHD, and they're probably right. Okay. I am sorry. Squeaky chair coin. There we go. SEC coin. Sounds a little too much like SEC. Isn't that? Yeah, and all that drama. Mm-hmm. When probe to the moon. Oh, the aliens probing on the moon. Probe to the moon. Probed coin. You can pay for a probing with the token. Oh, shoot. Or you can pay the aliens not to abduct you and probe you. So this is like it's like an insurance against abductions, right? Probed coin. I know we've joked about having a duck hole t-shirt, but maybe probed coin should be the next shirt, right? So probe to the moon. When probe sack too much. Let's see what else would probe coin do. Yeah, so that is your insurance against alien abduction. So basically it's going to be like an alien repellent. You buy probe coin and you can escape any type of abduction. And then what would the wallet be? Are we going to use MetaMask? Are we going to use Richard Hart's wallet? Or should it be? I was about to say something else, but yeah, let me not say that. I will say it. I was going to say, well, probe, where does the probe go? It goes in the anus. So the probe token and the anus wallet. I mean, it's just anatomical terms. But hey, John, thanks for being here tonight. I don't know if you've been here, if you just popped in, but we mentioned you bringing up the Hegelian dialectic on Wednesday because we did do a little talking about that today. Let's see. Did I go over the top with that? Anyway, it's going a little too far. Don't get any serious ideas. Don't worry. I'm not one of those type of people. I'm not going to start my own coin and do all that jazz. Maybe I would make a shirt and wear it, probe coin, but that's about it. Shoot. Yeah. Alrighty. But we're just having a good time. See, I like talking about like a specific topic too, but then sometimes, I go off the rails, start talking about. So apparently this is just my MO, just off the rails talking about whatever and everything. And I enjoy it. And you guys are still here. You haven't run away screaming yet. Hexologist is gone. Probe token would have been perfect. Hexologist. Oh, because he didn't. I don't understand this reference of this meaning, but I'm a bad hexagon in that I don't always know all the streamers and their details. Not because I don't want to, just it's hard to keep up with everybody. Proof of probe. There we go. The crevice wallet. Yeah, you know what? Because anus wallet would be too extreme. Even though it's a body part, I went to school for biology. I don't find the word offensive, but I'm sure people would. So yeah, let's go. Crevice wallet. Let's see. Yeah, just got on. The HD is the old formula for dominance in society the elite use against the masses. Yeah, 100%. We also talked about the Hegelian dialectic in terms of what if, even in terms of alien races, or these entities that present themselves as extraterrestrials, one of them coming in as the good guy to defeat the bad guys. I'm like, well, that would be, even the aliens can come in with their own version of the Hegelian dialectic too. It's not just limited to us human entities, Blippy coin. Oh, is that guy? Oh, okay. Yeah. That was known for, yeah, I think I know who that guy is. Bummer, you're late. Well, you know what? Torin, we've been talking, this has just been all over the place and insane. And we were just talking about the probe coin, and it is your proof of probe, your insurance against alien abductions. If you buy the token, it basically works as an insurance, and you hold it in the crevice wallet. I know, what the heck is Ashley talking about? Well, you'll see in the replay if you got the time to watch the replay. But I'm glad you're here, even though you're late. It's all good. I'm so happy seeing you guys. Did you all just come out of a stream? Because all of a sudden I see my numbers going up. Oh, thank you, Brian. First to sack for the probe token. Woohoo! Whoa, woohoo-hoo. There we go. And you know what? That declares you safe from alien abductions. Your anus is protected. All right? No probing going on for you tonight. Thank you, Brian. Hey, Torin. Yeah, Torin, we went down this lot of interesting duck holes tonight. So apparently you walked into quite the wealth hiding conversation. Oh, hiding wealth where? Where's the wealth being hidden? Oh, yes, in the crevice wallet. Yes, we are. We are all getting and the WEF cannot touch them. Well, the source of the Hegelian dialectic is spiritual, is in spiritual evil. It's interesting when you look at the things happening in the world. Some people like to blame these things on humans, but really, what is the origin? Okay, yeah, I know, there's a debate about, are we inherently sinful at our nature or whatever, but we're not evil at our nature. There are evil forces that have put a lot of these systems into place in the world. So like the concept about the Hegelian dialectic, which is a mouthful, being spiritual, and them being the ones to start it completely makes sense, because every way they function, it's like that's their basis. That's where it comes out of. Yeah, no, as in satanic. Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and like I said, I'm so glad that you brought that up on Wednesday, because that is something I've thought about and that goes in and out of my mind. But I've always meant to talk about that here, John. So I'm so glad, you brought that up last week and explained it a little bit to us. So thank you for that, because now I'm just, in and out of that rabbit hole. And again, if these evil entities that pose as aliens and want to pretend to be the good guys come in and they start using the Hegelian dialectic, that would absolutely make sense because, well, they're the originators of it. So yeah, so quite a duck hole with that. You can go a million different ways with that direction. So speaking of alien races, have I heard about the book Voyagers by Asha Yana Dean? I have not. I know there's a Voyagers movie, but I'm sure that is completely different than the book. I've not heard of it, but I will look into that. Thank you for the suggestion. And always, anybody who's watching in the replay, if you're watching in the replay, after a few hours after I guess this comes on and processes, you can click live chat and you can see everything we're talking about in the live chat. You can see the suggestions, you can see the back and forth, which is such a great tool for me. So I don't have to write. I get to just go back and look at these suggestions. So yeah, so I would encourage anybody in the replay to check out the live chat because sometimes it gets a little wild. Got a little weird before too, right? Yeah, aliens, fallen angels, exactly. Now, because okay, so we know the Nephilim are the offspring of fallen angels. The human and fallen angels got together, and the Nephilim are their offspring. These creatures without souls. So this is what I wonder sometimes: like, are they alien Nephilim, or are they outright the fallen angels? Which actually would make sense, actually, if they're fallen angels, because we know that, or there's a lot of claims about there being a hybridization program happening with them, and how else would they be able to produce? Yeah, so they're hybrids of the humans, and the fallen angel aliens would be more Nephilim. And actually, I heard an interesting interview where, and the woman seemed legit. And I've mentioned this before, but I mean, it was a mind-blowing interview on Blurry Creatures. I think it was called "Taken by Aliens" or "Abducted by Aliens," something. And she talked about the fact that these hybrids walk around amongst us. So, they're taking humans for their experimentation because of the Agree Treaty, where the government is like, sure, take our people, do whatever you want for them, but you give us technology in exchange. So she claimed that the hybrids that are being produced are actually walking around here. And because she's had so much experience with hybrids through her abductions and everything, she says she can tell she's watching somebody on TV or meeting somebody in real life if there's a hybrid. And she talked about talking to some couple next to them at the restaurant, and all of a sudden she realized the wife was a hybrid. And always these hybrids aren't very nice or friendly. And it's interesting because now it's piqued my interest, where I'm like, wow, who could be around you? Could be a hybrid. And if you look at the idea that, okay, Nephilim are soulless creatures, they're basically, demons just inhabiting a vessel. I'm like, the fact that there can be humans walking around with this Nephilim spirit inside them, hybrids, is it's interesting, but it almost makes you wonder that if you can kind of have that discernment to pick up on it too. Because I mean, that's so, even if they look like that, look like us, that is so unnaturally human, where I don't know. I feel like that would be our sixth sense to be able to pick up on it. But yeah, it's a wild rabbit hole. It's a new thing to me, because I don't know if I ever quite believed the hybridization agenda until she explained it like that, and I started putting it together with fallen angel agenda. I'm like, that makes sense. It's a lot like that book Intruders by Bud Hopkins. Yeah, deep in the duck hole. There you go. Oh yeah, deep in the duck hole with the probed coin. Should that be the quote of the day? This is my quote of the day. Your anus is protected, Brian. Yes. So if anyone else wants to drop a super chat, your anus will be protected. Or my wallet. I'm sorry. Is that not nice? Is that vague? I'm not. I'm just saying. No, but thank you. Mwah. I love all the support and the chatting and even just the hanging out here. So rabbit hole or duck hole? Which one? Rabbit season or duck season? Well, I like duck hole. It just appeals to me. I did visit somebody's rabbits today. Somebody went out of town and asked me to peek in on their rabbits. Now I'm wondering if I'm allergic to rabbits, but that's, not here nor there. Human nature being fallen due to sin, original sin, as the book of Romans chapter 5 mentions, depraved humanity works hand in hand with demonic spiritual influences, which is exactly what we see going on today, right? The Agree to Treaty, that they work together, because it's when you stop and think about it, I'm like, I've heard that in these facilities where they are working together, that yeah, there's regular humans just working alongside these entities, and these entities in physical bodies, and I'm like, who the heck would like sign up to do this kind of work? But there you go, depraved humanity. I mean, if you look and I know I can't say it exactly, but if you look at that, what is that documentary called that I talked about? Died Suddenly. You look at Died Suddenly. How depraved did those people have to be poisoning the entire human population? Your own human race. Like that's just warped. But I guess you're like, okay, well, if people do that, of course they're going to work in these deep underground bases alongside these entities. Let's get that on a shirt. Hey, I'm game to do that. No, I mean, okay. It is my intention for fun to make shirts, but then I feel like an idiot at the same time, because I'm like, that seems narcissistic that somebody would want to buy a shirt that I'm selling through here. But I don't know. I guess that's my own issue in my brain. But yeah, but I think there's a lot of weird directions we can go in a shirt with all our inside jokes. Ash on a tear tonight. I know. Why am I so wound up tonight? Caffeine does nothing for me. Except it makes my brain clear, but I can still fall asleep on it. So maybe I cleared my brain enough tonight to be able to talk. It's 4 shots of espresso. And I also had one this morning too. So it's like 8 shots of espresso total today. But let me tell you, I can still drink that and fall asleep. So, which is a sign of ADHD. But yeah. Nephilim are the ancient offspring of fallen angels and human women. There were generations of them who were tremendously evil. They were cannibals and necessitated the world flood of Noah today. So that's the interesting thing. When people are like, we're in the end times, when Christians want to say that, the end times, they say it's going to be like the days of Noah. And people look at the days of Noah and they're like, oh, people were just really bad and, weren't believing in God. But I'm like, it was to an extreme. You had the Nephilim running around. You had them as giants. They were eating people. You had the human genome basically completely corrupted. Like, we're not at that point. I see that we're heading toward that point, through experimentation, through transhumanism, through pharmaceutical programs of corrupting the human genome. But I'm like, I don't think people realize what we're talking about, what we realize here, John, the fact that, days of Noah, this is what the days of Noah mean. Like those giants, those tales of giants eating people aren't myths. That was what was happening back then. And the human genome was completely corrupted. And then, Noah and his family were the only righteous people God found. But that also makes me wonder, was Noah and his family the only people with uncorrupted genetics? Is that also it too? So it was like a purification of our DNA back to human DNA and not being mixed with, not being Nephilim DNA. It's really, it's crazy. It's crazy. A mind warp to think about. Oh yeah, there we go. Nephilim were ancient giants. We see a lot of that evidence today. Like those things that look like mountains up high, and then when they look at it up high, it looks like a giant that like is petrified. Or like even like Devil's Tower, that it looks like a giant petrified tree. Like the world wasn't like it is today. I mean, even in the Bible, when they talked about David and Goliath, okay, Goliath wasn't like a giant, but he was what, 9, 12 feet tall? Like, that's weird. But like the Bible talked about it like it was totally normal. So I'm like, it was so normalized back then. The giants had to have been a normal occurrence, and then everybody probably understood what that was and what that meant. And I guess, some of that did survive the flood, but probably not to that extreme. Goliath was of the smaller variety, I guess, that was left over after the flood. Let's see. Beaver hole or tunnels are far more interesting than either duck holes or rabbit holes, but maybe it's just me. See, I don't know enough about beavers. I think I saw a badger in real life once, but that was the extent of it. But you know what? Yeah, they make dams and tunnels and they do all those tunnels inside the dams. You're right. Way more intricate than a duck hole or a rabbit hole. coffee. Did I say coffee? I said espresso. I don't know what I said. Yeah, it helps make my brain clear. That's the only thing it does for me. But then I hit a point where it just doesn't work and make my brain clear either. We are in the Kali Yuga. I don't know what that is. Let me look that up. Let's see, Kali Yuga. It sounds Hindu. There we go. Kali Yuga in Hinduism is the fourth and worst of the four yugas in a yuga cycle. So, and yugas are world ages. So, oh, here's a picture of the. Okay, so that is interesting. Oh, okay. So, what happens at the end of a Kali Yuga? I'm sorry, what happens at the end of this fourth age? So, a new age starts. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, you know what? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say about the start of the new age. But yeah, it comes like kind of back to that great reset theory. Don't people believe we're in a great reset? And people believe that we've been through tons of great reset throughout history. And that's why you see these ancient civilizations with this incredible technology that they kind of, they reached a certain point and then a great reset happened and it kind of reset human achievement and everything. So being in the Kali Yuga, this is a new concept to me. So we're in the fourth and worst year. So basically we're like at the end before a great reset, right? Interesting. We're living in some weird times, man, right? I mean, because like even the WEF has the nerve to just come right out and call it the Great Reset. I mean, it's just like past a point. It's like they're mocking us. Devil's Tower is interesting. And with that name, I have no idea where the name came from. Did it come from the Native Americans? But the fact is, it looks like a tree stump, a petrified tree stump. Like when you see that from above, like there's no denying that. Like some people actually think it's like a foot and those are muscle fibers, but to me, it looks like a petrified tree stump. Hey, Flat Earth Underground. The truth is much stranger than fiction. Always 100%, man. Hey, Cookies and Crypto. Thanks, guys. Everybody flowing in here. I appreciate that you guys all made your way in. So the fallen angels in Genesis 6:4 are also sexually violated animals. Yes, Noah and his family were genetically pure and devout to God. Now, here's the interesting thing. So if fallen angels sexually violated animals, is that how we get things like Bigfoot and the Yeti and Mothman and Dogman and all these things? Like, I never thought about that. Because, okay, yes, humans are engaging in bestiality. Our genetics aren't compatible to be able to produce some sort of weird offspring. But them, like fallen angels are angels. They're not human. They're not of the same species, but yet they were able to mate with humans, which makes me think that they would have that ability to mate with every other thing, which now makes me wonder, see, send me down another duck hole. Makes me wonder if that's where the cryptids come into play. That's what cryptids are from, the chupacabra, whatever. Like maybe chupacabra is a coyote and a fallen angel, Yeti is an ape and a fallen angel. It's interesting. Oh yeah, we're in a Jubilee year. We're like in a conjunction of a lot of things. I feel like we're at a powder keg moment in history. I mean, I've been thinking that for years, but like it feels more and more like something's about to go down at any moment. So it's just like, what is the Franz Ferdinand event? Oh yeah, yugas are long. From what I saw on that pie chart that I looked up, they look like they run for thousands of years. So we're like at the end of one of those, and we got a reset coming. Something's coming, and apparently every other culture and religion seems to point to that too. So Goliath, at about 9 to 12 feet tall, was short in comparison to the giants of earlier times. Yeah, and so the thing is, it's like, did that race of smaller giants, did they somehow survive the flood? Did they go underground? What was it? Or, the fallen angels just came back and started their breeding program again, their hybridization program again. I wonder what happened to cause that, But it's interesting because I've seen those charts where, you see like the suspected height of what the other giants were, that no, Goliath was like an ant compared to some of these others. Isn't there talk in the Bible about like looking like ants or something? I don't know. I can't remember the verse, but and there was something else I was gonna say. Shoot. See, but like my mind, it starts racing in a bunch of different directions about this, and I don't remember what I was gonna say about it. Oh, sorry, give me a second. I'm stumped. I'm stumped. But I love this giant talk. It's so fascinating. Oh yeah, the giant bones. You know, they say that whenever giant bones are found, the Smithsonian comes and takes them. Blurry Creatures has a great shirt that says, Smithsonian has the bones. And I heard this thing and it sounded so extreme, but now when you start seeing the way everything's hidden, I still am of the belief that dinosaurs were real. I mean, it just, yeah. But I've heard that we've never found an entire complete dinosaur skeleton. And some people say that is because dinosaurs didn't exist, that they were a cover up for giants bones, so that when giants bones were found, and the government, Smithsonian, whoever wanted to cover up the fact that giants were a thing, they lied and said, no, it's actually these giant lizards called dinosaurs. So that's an interesting thought. I mean, honestly, it is what it is either way, but I'm like, okay, that's a way to look at it. Oh gosh, this is a fun conversation, man. We're all having a good time here, or at least I am. Think there's truth to the giant Kandahar. Is that Afghanistan? Is Kandahar in Afghanistan? Was that the red-headed giant? Okay, hold on. I'm going to look that up. The giant of Kandahar. I heard something about that. But honestly, like, at this point, I think there's so much of it as possible. Like, nothing seems too extreme and far-fetched anymore. So, outlandish tales of the military. Oh, okay. And the Afghan colossi. Again, I don't always mean to go back to this, but it's such a wealth of information. Blurry Creatures did an episode on that, and I haven't been able to listen to it yet. Why is my internet suck today? Okay. Did I stop buffering or whatever the word is? Yeah. So I've been meaning, honestly. It was even something I talked about with my sister. I've been meaning to look into this, but at this point, I wouldn't doubt it. And isn't that the region where, I mean, where they would have originated from? I don't know. And aren't the fallen angels kind of locked up underneath that Middle Eastern region? So I'm gonna get back to you. We should all talk about that giant someday. A centaur. Oh, is that the one mixed with horse? Oh, okay. So yeah. Well, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I just realized how behind I am on the comments, guys. But true. It's interesting because when you look at a lot of the myths, the things that you think are myths, now I'm doubting the fact that they were myths. I'm like, oh my gosh, they probably were stories of old, of these giants, of these like the Greek gods and goddesses. I thought, again, just myth. But now I'm starting to come to the belief that these are real stories of the fallen angels and the or the pre-Diluvian era and what went on in them, and that they're just being called myths today, but it actually was, these fallen angels presenting themselves as titans, presenting themselves as gods. And, these mythological creatures, I'm like, you know what? They might have been real too. Same thing. Yeah. If we have the fallen angels breeding with animals, then it's completely possible. Right on track, Ash. The unnatural offspring with animals are called aerials. Oh, okay. Oh, I never knew that it had a specific name. Okay. Oh, you're sending me down this new rabbit hole. I love it. Let's see. Look up the elongated skulls of Peru. Oh, yes, I have to look into that. I think I just seen a picture recently about it. Who didn't hit the like? Are you the like police? Well, thank you for being on like patrol, Brian. Yes, please hit the like if you haven't done it already. So there are theories of a second incursion from heaven of angels, as well as corrupted genes that somehow survived Noah's flood. The mystery continues. Yeah, I guess it's not one of those answers that we won't know until God reveals it to us. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, something had to have happened. Yeah, they either came back, because I guess if they're gonna fallen angels are basically angels that went into rebellion, because angels, even though they're spiritual beings that are designed to serve, that were created to serve God, they also have free will. So fallen angels are angels that completely rebelled against God. And so you know what? They could probably keep doing it at any other time in history. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was another fall that happens, or if they just fall randomly. I actually heard this clip from, I'm sorry, I'm going off on tangents, but I'm going to catch up with the chat as soon as I can. But it was this, it was like, whoa, when you heard it. It was a priest who does exorcisms that was talking about what happens when they talk to these the demons or that are in people. And because they're like, they I guess when they're in some sort of exorcism, when they're talking to the priest, they can't lie, they have to answer the truth. And they're like, they ask them, they're like, are you suffering because you rebelled from God? And they're like, yes. Are you this, because of your rebellion? And I'll have to find the clip. And then finally they're like, do you regret it? And they're like, no. Shoot. Yeah. But they admit that that they were in rebellion and that they're suffering and everything. It's wild. I'll have to find that clip and post it to Twitter. Check out End Times Productions, Hidden History, the movie. Thank you. I will look into that. We need to buy Ash with the camera a ticket to the Smithsonian's secret stashes somehow. I've probably raised enough flags where I'm probably never going to be allowed near anything secret like that in the future or ever. You just watched Ancient Apocalypse. Wait, you're in on that. I thought you were saying you were in on a documentary. You just watched Ancient Apocalypse with Graham Hancock. It was a compelling series on Netflix. I've been meaning to watch that, but I've heard that there's a lot of controversy, that people aren't happy it's on there, which just intrigues me even more. And people are like, whoa, we can do series and stories about murderers and everything. That's all good, but you do this about Ancient Apocalypse, and now it's like, oh no, how dare you put this show out? So anything that makes people mad is always interesting, always intriguing. The Smithsonian does have a history of confiscating and hiding bones of giants and dinosaurs. The giant Kandahar story seems credible, but the mystery continues. Why can't they just share their information and their knowledge? But they're greedy. Can you imagine what is in those Smithsonian archives? Oof. Yeah, it has all the cool stuff. The Vatican archives, the archives under the Sphinx. Oh man. With the Library at Alexandria. My mom always claims, she's like, you know what? That library was burned for a reason. There was a reason. It wasn't just some randomness, or fight that happened. There's something that was their way of hiding history from us. Yeah, and I think she's right. Yeah, centaur, horse, and human. So the Ariels, like the Little Mermaid. I didn't know that they were called Ariels. It's interesting. Duck hole, not rabbit. Sorry, duck hole. Go down the duck hole. What happens when you mix a centaur with a minotaur? Oh, what is a minotaur? But if they're not fallen angels, if they're the offspring, then they probably wouldn't be able to breed together, right? But let me look up I forgot what a minotaur is. But even isn't there a Colossus or Colossi? That was another creature that looks like this giant lion in Greek mythology. So now I'm wondering, it probably did exist. That's why the Sphinx is there. Popular role playing. No, they're talking about. Oh, okay. So it's a bull and a human. There we go. Minotaur. Sorry, I had to double check that. The Book of Enoch is much more detailed about giants, the incursion of the Watcher angels, and the movement of heavenly luminaries in flat Earth. I'm still meaning to read that, and I saw that Michael Heiser has a companion to it, so I'm like, okay, I should get the two and study it together. A red flag, Ash says for sure. I can't hardly stand this show. Wait, you can't stand me, Torin? Is that what you're saying? Oh man, yeah. I mean, I first of all, they keep all the good stuff from all us common folks, all our us regular folks, and then all of us, who they know our search history. The Titan Point building in the city knows what we're doing. So imagine all the red flags they have collected on every one of us in this chat. We're dangerous to them. Truth is treason in the empire of lies. Yes. Oh, I love that. Is that your quote, or is this a quote taken from somewhere? But it's, yeah, truly, the truth. We're living in a time where the truth is nearly outlawed without actually being legislated, because, like, it's like the Ministry of Truth that we have, and the fact checkers and this and that. Like, pretty much, you know what? There's what's called embargo. There's a ban on the truth. You're not allowed to speak it, because if you speak it, oh, then you're causing problems. Then you're doing this. Then you're doing that. Oh, then you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, then you're promoting hesitancy. It's true. We live in an era of lies, because, yeah, that's what the empire is. Keep saying rabbit hole. I'm confused. I know. Oh yeah, we only talk duck holes here. I'm sorry, I said rabbits. Maybe it's because I looked in on somebody's rabbits today, and maybe rabbits are just in my brain. Yeah, someone I know has 6 rabbits, so I was helping them out. Ooh, a lot of rabbits, and they're really cute. But I started sneezing afterward. Okay, yeah, bull and human, the Minotaurs. Cute and dangerous. What's cute and dangerous? The Colossi? Did I say a Minotaur was cute and dangerous? I don't know what I said. Sounds like a Star. I know, like, it made me think of Star Wars. Maybe it's because of, like, the whole Empire talk. I don't know how to pronounce the L there. I'm just gonna give it talk. How do you guys say talk? I don't know. Oh, it's Orwell's. I bought 1984 and I still haven't read it. I feel like a jerk. Remember reading Animal Farm as a kid. Like, I was in Catholic school and they had us read it in middle school. And now they wouldn't assign that to middle school kids. Oh, of course, because there's the truth. But yeah, they were pretty cool like that in Catholic school. I was one of the only Protestant kids. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so Orwell, man. A lot of these older writers, they're like kind of like prophets, not legit prophets, but kind of like literary prophets, because it's amazing that the things they talked about, the things they called, how it ended up coming true. In not a predictive programming sense, just in like even Ayn Rand. Isn't there a documentary called Ayn Rand? Sorry. Ayn, I guess, would be the correct Russian pronunciation. Ayn Rand and the Prophecy of Atlas Shrugged. I never saw that, but I really liked her book, Anthem. Oh, thank you, How I Made. I appreciate that. Oh, the coffee's on you. Thank you. But that'll buy me 2 coffees. So I appreciate that. Because, yeah, I'm all espressoed up. Yeah, I've discovered that, like, espresso, I guess, is my thing. Is that my Italian genetics at work? I don't know, but thank you, How I Made. Rabbits, they breed them? No, they actually rescue rabbits. And, like, the local animal, one of the local animal shelters knows they got a rabbit. They're like, "You want a rabbit?" So they have rabbits that were, like, rescued from hoarding situations and everything. And let me tell you, these rabbits live an amazing life because they let their rabbits have run of the house. There's a bonded pair of rabbits on each floor. They're not caged. They use litter boxes. And they just go wherever they want. So 2, 2, 2. It's pretty wild. It's cool to see because I had never really spent time around rabbits before. And one of them was like how like a little dog will kind of like stand up at your knees. One of them was doing that today because it wanted a treat. They're funny. I personally wouldn't have rabbits because I wouldn't be able to do that whole wander the house thing. I think it would freak me out. But I wouldn't want to keep them in a cage either. But I'm glad somebody's doing the rabbit rescuing. And they shed like cats too. It's fascinating. They're very soft. The truth is out there, Agent Mulder. Keep digging. Ah, love this show so much, man. I am such an X Files nerd. I was gonna say, I'm like, do I got like a little Scully on my shelf? No, I don't. I had put away some of my collectibles. Oh yeah, it was funny. I tweeted about this. Um, so like when my sister got married last month, we had family come in from out of the country and stay with us. And my mom was like, basically like, please put your weird stuff away. So I had to like pack my little alien and everything, my little alien figures and everything away. So nobody thinks I'm completely insane. Though, I think they would figure it out. Hey, Gen Hex, nice to see you. You guys took a little time off, right? Did you and Brian take a little time off from your show? So I'm glad you all are back. You back yet? I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm out of the YouTube loop at the moment. But I barely able to get on here. But nice seeing you. Thank you for popping in tonight. Oh, I look like Agent Scully. Thank you. That's very flattering. I appreciate that because when I was a kid, like you give a kid a toy gun and, I don't know what they want to play, military or cowboys or something. No, when I had this really cool metal cap gun as a kid. And guess what I did? I ran around pretending I was playing X-Files, pretending I was Agent Scully. So, oh my gosh, I had the opportunity to see Gillian Anderson do a play live. I'm like, wow. Fantastic actress, but don't worry, I won't go into that fandom rabbit hole, duck hole. But thank you, John. So Saint Anger Reborn, those writers were in the club, possibly. Yeah, it's true. Cause I'm like, okay, we have that view of predictive programming or people just kind of being in the know in the TV writers' room. I know, I'm like, do I have to be careful what I say? I know some TV writers. But yeah, you wonder. That did cross my mind. I'm like, does the same apply to the literary world? I guess why wouldn't it? I read a lot of truth in school, surprisingly, like Fahrenheit 451, book about burning books / knowledge. Let me tell you, Fahrenheit 451 was probably like one of the only books I read during high school. I was a decent student because I managed, I don't know, whatever. I could care less about school. I didn't like studying or doing my homework, but I still, I guess, worked the system. Because I'm like, oh, you don't got to read the book. You can just listen to the discussion and then be able to pass the test or whatever about it. So I was not into that because I didn't want to read what I was being told to read. I wanted to read what I was going to read. So I wouldn't read the books that they assigned, but man, Fahrenheit 451, so good. I actually read that in high school. And you know what? I wonder, do you think they pull it out of the curriculum now? It has to be that they're, first of all, putting woke stuff in the curriculum. That we know. But the stuff that kind of gives insight into the truth, I feel like, yeah, I'm surprised that stuff is still allowed in the curriculum. And maybe it's got to be working its way out if it hasn't already done that yet. Man, sorry, I'm now thinking of school curriculums. Ugh. Oh, thank you, John. That's really nice of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't know what walkabout is. Does that mean on hiatus? Let's see. Okay, did a stream last weekend, skip today for the holiday. Okay, back next week. Oh, I look forward to your return to YouTube. Oh, that's very kind of you. No, thank you everybody who dropped a little something. I truly do appreciate that. Like I always say, I'm shocked anybody even wants to hang out and talk strangeness. So thank you to everybody who, I was going to say the names again, but it deleted the list. But yeah, thank you to everybody who dropped something in. John Davis, How I Made, Ryan, Mr. Okel, you're always so cool with that. So thank you guys so much. It really means a lot. And it's mind-boggling to me. So thank you so much. Yeah, they probably scrapped it from the curriculum. I can't even imagine what the school curriculum is like. Because here's the thing. I left the school system, stopped working in the school district in 2019. I currently let my license lapse. Because I'm like, it's disgusting. I don't want to work in the schools. But what is that now? What is that? 3 years ago? Like, wait, hold on. 2020, 2021, 2022. Okay, like 3 years ago that I stopped working in the schools. And what's insane is that the schools, forget lockdowns and everything that happened, just the culture, the wokeness. Yes, it was still present in 2019, but it's not even like what it is today. Like, it was a different world. Like, yeah, no, I got to be careful. I can't say that. But it's really, I'm like, if I wanted to go back, I don't know how much tolerance I would have for what has entirely changed. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just mind blown. I always use the word mind blown because that's basically what it is. But just to see the difference in everything in just 3 short years, it's crazy to think how things can spiral out of control. And it's nothing new. This is something that's been on the conveyor belt for years, and it's been a slow process of creeping in, but like now it's just increased exponentially. And I can't even imagine what the curriculum looked like and what they've scrapped and what they've introduced in. I mean, you guys have seen those like pornographic type books that they allow into libraries. And no, nobody's being a prude when they say they don't like that. I'm sorry, but people, that's what people want to act like. Oh, you're clutching your pearls. Have you guys seen some of this stuff, these books they keep in libraries? Like, that's not pearl clutching to say that's not appropriate for children. They're truly things that are not appropriate for children. Just because it's drawn as a cartoon or like written verbally doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's acceptable now. Like, it's weird. It's intentional. Really, that's what that is. No, not it, unfortunately. Not lately. Not lately. But thank you for asking. Though we have a couple nice ones around us now. Surprising for New York. Okay, you want to know what's wild? You know where I learned? I learned out of all places when I first learned marksmanship. I learned in New York City, in Manhattan. Isn't that insane? Weird. Like, you wouldn't expect that. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, and thank you, Brian. Tips to my donation wallet are better than super chats. Just saying, might give you a tube of slice. Listen, I am grateful for anything I get. But yeah, whatever you guys want, if you're open to throwing me something, those are both your options. I do have my wallet address in the description. But whatever works good for you guys, I am grateful either way. Yeah, man. Thank you. So have I been noticing or fighting back during lockdown and seeing a lot of chips? And that's the thing. After what happened when, pre-lockdown, when they kept showing everybody dropping in the streets and having a seizure, and, like people getting their doors soldered shut, because it was so horrendous what was happening there. Now I'm really suspicious about what we see coming out. But unless that was their intention, make you suspicious so that when the real stuff does come out, we don't believe it anymore. So like, you just don't know with these countries, these countries that our government wants to kiss their butt entirely. But yeah, I feel like we've just hit the point where we just have no clue, absolutely zero idea what's happening at this point. Oh man. Yeah, it's not like I haven't been. It's ranges cost money. Things aren't easy in New York at the moment. Oh, well, thank you. Listen, the fact that this many people watch me live, I still can't wrap my head around. I'm like, people want to, okay, cool. It's like, as you could tell, I'm an extrovert. I like to talk. So as many people as I can get together just chatting, I'm happy with. One you really enjoyed was Mice of Men. Something about the chemistry of the main characters and the ending. I like when endings are always upbeat. You know what? I was wrong. Fahrenheit 451 wasn't the only one. It was that one of Mice and Men and Fahrenheit 451. There's something, it's funny because people think that kids don't want to read these classics, but like they ended up being more interesting than some of the modern classics that they were giving us. These classics. There really was something special about Of Mice and Men, and I was thinking about revisiting it lately. You like when endings are always upbeat. I don't remember that ending being upbeat. Maybe I do have to revisit that. I don't know if it's sarcasm, but no spoilers. I'm saying I don't know. I don't remember exactly the ending. What's my sign? Brian got it right. Alien? No. No. I'm 100% human DNA, uncorrupted genome and blood. So you're gonna go with Libra or Virgo? Okay, is everybody taking bets here? All right, Virgo. Yeah. Brian did cheat with that alien guess. Oh, you think I'm a Scorpio? Okay. Torrin thinks I'm a Scorpio. She's not a Gemini, too friendly. Tin Top says Taurus. And then, do you know your sun and moon signs? Torrin says Taurus. Haven't known too many of those to be interesting. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not into astrology. I don't like it, but what I do think is interesting is somehow though our birth dates do seem to follow certain patterns. I think that comes from not like the mystical stars or whatever. I just think certain things in the atmosphere affect us in the moon. So just that's what I'm gonna say before that. But let's see. Okay, everybody's taking bets. I'm surprised it's not more obvious. I'm in Aries. I thought like my insanity would make that clear. But okay, I'm going back. I skipped over a bunch of comments. Let's see. Okay, the deliberate dumbing down of America. Oh, it 100% is a dumbing down of America. Oh, and isn't there a documentary about that? Oh shoot, didn't Kirk Cameron make like a homeschool documentary that talked about the dumbing down of America? I gotta get the name. Is it Unschool? No, I can't remember. I'll have to find that again. Didn't notice the Venmo. Rather tip you there or Ethereum address versus YouTube super chats. Taxing me. Thank you. Yeah, I did put those in there. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I always get awkward about that because I like it, but I feel bad. But no, thank you guys. So yeah, those details are down in the description if anybody wants it. But like I said, anything either way, whatever works for you, I'm grateful either way. So thank you guys. So Corey Crypto said the exact same thing today. Former teacher sickened by the curriculum. You know what? I didn't realize until recently. He reached out to me. He's like, listen, I'm on the same page. Went to, school for teaching, all this. Basically, he's not down with it. So we're getting together in December. I'm going to be on a show and we're going to talk about that. Kind of closer to Christmas. I think Thoughts Child, tongue-tied, made that connection happen. So I'm really excited to talk to Corey about that. Gemini aren't always upbeat. I could be the opposite of upbeat too. I can be pretty darn pessimistic and negative, but like in a hostile way. Do you know? I forgot. I used to remember some of this other stuff, but because I don't really believe in it, I just forget it. I just remember like the main ones. My dad, whenever you ask him his sign, he says it's asparagus. That's a dad joke right there, right? It's probably Earth sign. It's like a game still. Taurus, your insanity made you a New Yorker that is still living there. Clear. It's this pull in my heart. I like it, really like it, but I did, it's hilarious because if I have to leave New York, I still want to be in New York. I just want to go upstate New York. Is this like some sort of like toxic abusive relationship that I just can't say goodbye to? I love it. I love it here. Idiocracy is a documentary. My local Alamo Draft House had done, I think, Idiocracy during one of the election seasons. I should have seen it. I still haven't seen that. The deliberate dumbing down of America. Oh, is a book or essay. I can't remember which. Okay. I'm sorry, John. When you mentioned it before, I thought that was like a quote by this person. Okay. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And then like when you're a teacher and you realize that you're like teaching to the test and you can't really like go like, then you see that it's a dumbing down because it's like you can't teach on bigger concepts. You got to just always drill these test concepts in. So annoying. I ran into one of my students on Black Friday. Not that I was out Black Friday shopping. I just wanted to see what was going on at Barnes and Noble, and we saw each other there. That was fun. It's kind of wild when when you see a former student, they remember you and they tell you how they felt about your class and what they liked about it. It's really nice. Not enough to make me go back, but it's it's nice to walk away with that memory. I've watched the beginning of it, and I think it's going to be good. I think everybody should watch that. Yeah, it's like I watched the first 20 minutes of it, but like you can already tell it's going to be good, and it's interesting because yeah, who else would be seeing this stuff but the morticians? And I think a lot of morticians are, or, I guess it started with the morticians, and I know it was talking about a lot of different things, but some of the concepts they bring up makes a lot of sense, because why do you see certain areas of the United States? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the way to say this without setting off red flags. Why do you see certain areas of the United States with more people that are dying, and then or certain towns or whatever, and other places are fine? And the fact they're pointing out that it's the way that it's stored, it has a very specific efficacy and temperature it needs to be stored at. And if you don't do that, then it's not effective anymore, which makes so much sense, because when it first came out, remember there was like debate, like, oh no, they're not being stored properly. Oh no, what's going on with this? So you get some people who get really effective stuff that was stored properly. And of course the effective stuff is effective at what it was meant to do. And then you get the other stuff that's, that wasn't stored properly and just ends up like useless sludge in the body. Not that it's healthy to have useless sludge, but it's interesting. Kind of like shows why you have certain groups of people reacting more than others. I guess it had to do with how their local pharmacy or town was storing things. Oh, you got blocked binaries? Did you set them off? Wait, how did you get blocked binaries? What happened? Super Bowl is modern day gladiator pit. Give them their bread and their circuses. And then what is it that they'll never rebel or something? Like, yeah. I can't get into sports. Yeah, it does seem like this distraction. And yes, I know movies and TVs could be the same thing. But the way that people like gather around sports and like it's almost like that is their religion. It just seems like that distraction where you're distracted, they're keeping you happy, they're giving you your bread and your circuses, and you're not going to cause any issues. So I don't watch the Super Bowl, but I used to go to the parties to eat the food and hang out. Those were always fun. Sorry, I'm thinking about Super Bowl food. Kielbasa. Sorry, Brian. School isn't education, it is indoctrination. Amen to that. They are indoctrination facilities, because look at this. Because when does the government care about you? Right? They don't care about you. So why are you going to hand over your innocent, your precious, your impressionable children, this invaluable thing, a human being, and you're going to hand it over to government and say, here, have at it? No, they've never been on our side. So why would they not be indoctrinating their point of view and their propaganda? It's not education. Education is you have your child and they have something they love and they're interested in and they want to learn how it works, and then you teach them, and then that's education. Yeah. Education is what you teach yourself too. I feel like I went to like really good schools, and I feel like a lot of what I know is like self-taught outside of it. Though I learned how to type pretty well in high school. So that was one of the few good things. Being born and raised in New York, it's like school. Now go out and educate the rest of the world with our ways. I'm telling you, I know not that me and Brian are trying to be like New York elitists, but it gives you a different perspective and a different way of interacting with the world around you. And I don't know. I don't want to say street smart, because we're not like, that kind of New York, but I don't know. It just gives you a different perspective on the world. Everybody has a different perspective about where they're from, but almost like, I guess it gives you the ability to call out BS in a different way. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. You all just need to come and hang out here, and then you'll figure it out. Must have been one of the cool teachers. The students walk up to me. I don't know. Because I guess here was the thing. My thing was, listen, I'll treat you nicely, and like, because I liked running my high school classroom like college. I'm not going to baby you. I'm not going to chase you. You do what has to be done. All right. It's your responsibility. Some people got angry about that, and other people were very appreciative of this. And this student that came up to me, she's like, "Thank you. You know, like you treated us." She's like, "One of the things I loved about your class was that you treated us like adults." You know, she's like, "It was not. It was nice, and then it was fun, and it was everybody just. I guess it was just a nice learning environment." Um, so I think that's the thing. Yeah, because I'm like, it's your responsibility. I'm not gonna and it just makes for a nice dynamic. So I don't know if I was a cool teacher. I mean, I'm like, what can I tell? What stories can I tell? I mean, because there were always the obnoxious kids that tried to cause problems for you because they didn't like the grade they got, There were kids in my school that would like plot to get certain teachers like thrown out. It was horrendous. They would do terrible things to set up the teachers in weird ways. So yeah, it was weird, but yeah. I don't know if it was one of the cool teachers or not, but I did I had certain classes during certain parts of the day that were really wonderful kids, and we had such a good time. And that's what comes back to the whole dumbing down and the teaching for the test. Like, these kids were cool, we had a good time. I'm thinking of one specific class. They were receptive to whatever I wanted to teach them, but I had to stick to that stupid curriculum. I would have had so much fun if I wasn't stuck to that curriculum, and they would have came out with quite an education. Not that I'm tooting my own horn, just for fun, because I would have, I don't know, went after whatever they were interested in, and we would have gone that way. Oh yeah, the died suddenly deniers are funny. Okay, I saw somebody who was like, died suddenly is a psyop. It's horrendous. And I'm like, what the heck? What kind of psyop would it be? And it's like, because it's germ theory, it's promoting germ theory. I'm like, oh, come on. It's promoting germ theory and the fact that this virus is real. I'm like, okay, put that aside. Even if whatever you believe, okay, it's focusing on the pointy thing that goes into people's bodies that kill them. Like, regardless of whether you believe terrain theory or germ theory, you can't deny that that's killing people. But big book packed with info on the goals of the educators. Oh, so that's that book you mentioned before. Okay. The goals. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Educators in quotes. Yeah. They're educators, all right. They're propagandists in chief. Um, I can't stand is it I want to call it traditional schooling, but wouldn't traditional schooling be homeschooling? I cannot stand government schooling. There we go. I did not attend NYU. No. The school I went to was very leftist and progressive, but it wasn't NYU. I went to school in the suburbs. Sports are a distraction. TV and movies are too, but also indoctrination. Sports commentary is getting into indoctrination also lately. That's interesting, because I don't watch sports. I didn't, I don't know a lot about the commentary, but I did notice something recently because I love Ted Lasso. If that hasn't been obvious through Twitter or whatever, and then like Ted Lasso has like real announcers, I guess real well-known British announcers in the show, being like the announcers for the game, because Ted Lasso centers around soccer, but it's not a soccer show because I don't like sports, because otherwise I wouldn't be watching it. But like when I see this announcer on Twitter, it's like horrendous and just like stupid propaganda and like off the edge, extreme political stuff. And I'm like, aren't people following you because of like sports stuff? I don't think they're following you because they're interested in all that, but there they are. But there this guy is just spewing his stuff. I don't know. So you were nonsense, any rebellion, and how did you handle it? Well, here's like, okay, so I was teaching pretty much the same subject all day for 3 different classes, but some of them would be double periods with labs, and then I taught an elective and stuff. But yeah, I did get some difficult kids. Yeah, and I don't remember how he handled it. I think initially sometimes you just call on the assistant principal to talk to everybody and to tell them, like, there's going to be issues if you don't behave. But I guess another way that I handled it was sometimes like you don't react because they want a reaction out of you. So you just kind of ignore it or go with the flow or laugh at something or make a comment, and you kind of just go with the flow. Because yeah, you just don't give them that reaction that they want. So I don't remember anything like Yeah, so nothing too bad. It was just that type of stuff, you know? So I just tried not to give them the reactions that they wanted. Um, at another school district I was at, I used to just throw kids out of the class constantly. That was the best. But this most recent district I worked at, I couldn't do that. But man, this other district just let you throw them out of the classroom, and they had to go specifically to a certain in-school suspension room. That was the greatest. That was yeah. But yeah. So but it was funny, okay? So it was like ninth and 10th graders I taught in my favorite class, the best behaved class that was like totally into it. That good class I was talking to you about was all girls. There was just two boys. so no offense, because I know there's a lot of men in this chat, but I'm sure you all remember what you liked during high school. The high school boys were the hardest to deal with. The girls were so freaking easy. Had such a good time teaching high school girls. But man, the boys are what was hard. Those classes that were mostly male were the ones where, yeah, so that was my thing. I just couldn't react to the behavior. Yeah. I feel like I can watch anything and learn something, but maybe that's an excuse. I don't know. I know. That's why I think I wonder the same thing. Are we justifying when we're watching TV or movies? But I think at least we're going into it with an awareness. So you're kind of looking at it through a certain lens. And unfortunately, I think it does make certain things less enjoyable to watch. But on the other hand, you know, it's also interesting to be like, oh my gosh, look at what they're spewing in this. Look at what they're teaching people. And especially Netflix has gotten really annoying with that. But I still do like TV. I lean toward TV. But I don't know. What am I watching? I started watching continuing Call the Midwife. I hadn't watched the most recent season, so I'm catching up on that before the Christmas special. It's my thing. I might not like British humor too much, but I love British drama. And I love Irish humor, Irish TV humor. Amazing. Not at your school catfights? No. Thankfully, the girls were pretty good. They weren't catfighting. But when I was in high school, though, I went to high school when there was a transition in principals. The high school had gone through a new principal every year until this principal came in. So everybody was pushing this principal's boundaries. And I remember there was like constant chaos. And this was a good district, but I remember one time the kids, they let some fish rot for the senior prank, and then they put it in blenders, and we used to have carpet in the hallways, and they poured it into the carpets, and they put this rotten fish in the radiators. So even after all that got cleaned up, I think they couldn't walk at graduation. We were still smelling it the next winter when the radiators turned on. And I remember on my last day of school, this was when I was in 9th grade, people in the 3rd floor started throwing desks out windows, and and I remember being in a math class in 9th grade, and some kid, he was just one of these annoying whiny kids who are always like kind of like, you would imagine like Ray Romano type of thing going on. Sorry, Ray Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. And this girl, she was sitting next to me. She got up, she stood up, she walked across the room, kicked him out of his chair, like one of those push kicks right out of the chair, grabbed him off the ground by the throat, and just started shaking him the whole time. So that was like my high school experience. And then the this new principal put everybody into place, and then it was boring the next 3 years after that. So like when I went to high school, things were wild. You'd hear people fighting in the hallways. Okay, I remember one time. Oh, sorry, I'm going through my high school stories. But this was funny in terms of cat fights. I remember one cat fight in 11th grade. So things had gotten boring. All the chaos and pranks were gone because of this new administration. But we didn't have security guards at the time. We had old ladies that would sit in the hallway, and old ladies that would pull you out if there was a fight or something. And I remember a cat fight happening, and then they were like called the old ladies, and the old ladies like dragged the people out. And because it was an old lady, nobody was going to like try to hit or like knock them over. So everybody would just leave the fight with the old ladies. But that was my high school experience. And then when I taught at that same school, nothing, no cat fights. Everybody was fine. Like there wasn't much controversy. It was like got really bland and boring by the time I was teaching there. So yeah. So it sounds like your high school was fun, or cat fights fun. I don't know. I was not that type of girl to have cat fights. Oh shoot, with the cat. Oh, so that legit. No, no. Yeah, no, no. When I was teaching, it was so bland and boring. Though maybe that's good. Maybe I don't want to handle that kind of chaos. I don't know what educage is. You went there briefly. Is that code name for a district in this county, in our county? Or is that a legit place? I've never heard of it. Third floor high school. Oh, you trying to okay. We'll talk later. We'll talk. I understand. I was one of the hard kids to deal with in school. So your teacher made you the class prefect. You know what? Sometimes that's how it goes, right? You take and doesn't it work in those ways? You get put into that position of having that responsibility and having to be an example. So sometimes, sometimes the teachers know what they're doing. I love that. Yeah, the old ladies, they did, and then when I was teaching there, they replaced the old ladies. They forced them into retirement and then brought in like a contracted security team. But it was so much fun when there were old ladies everywhere. Um, and then you would hear them phoning each other on the walkie-talkies. It was a sight, and there was like an old guy that would patrol um on the golf cart, and he even had like this license plate that said chief. It was quite hilarious. Yeah, it really was. But you know what? They could drag somebody out of a fight and just be like, "Come to the office with me," and then they would get followed along. Uh, it may explain good behavior. No, it was a public school. It was a public school, and it's like one of the nicer towns um in the count. I mean, not one of the super wealthy towns, but it's a nice town in my county. Yeah, I don't know where the tameness came from, but yeah. Oh, it was the by the. Oh, okay. No, I've never taught there. I think I proctored there once, but I never ended up taught, and I never heard of anybody really going there. So I don't know if that was something that they've started to phase out, or they only had for extreme situations. Because I believe I had to proctor there for a girl that was so severely bullied. She tried to, oh, I guess I'm not allowed to say this word on here, but she tried to harm herself. And so I think they sent her to the alternative school to get away from the bullying. So I think that's now what they use for the alternative school. Cause I know like at one point in time, it was like legit like an alternative education. So no, when I was teaching, it wasn't like it kind of served other purposes now. So I think they're kind of phasing that out. But I've always been curious about that. I'm like, what was it back at the time where it was more utilized? Like, what was the purpose of it? It sounded cool to have like an alternative school. Um, I think like one of the teachers in my district went to high school, I think, at that school, and then ended up teaching in the district. So the NEA, the Trojan Horse in American Education, great American teacher from New York. He was outraged at how middle school and high school kids in New York couldn't read or write. Oh my gosh. I've heard about those things in the city. It's like I think it also becomes that whole social promotion thing where they'll like pass you on to the next grade, so you're with kids your own age, even though you didn't hit the standards. It's like it's mind blowing. It's like the school's basically just a babysitter instead of a place to educate. But yes, I've heard NEA, so many problems. I forget there's the NEA, and I forget the other one, National Association. Is it? I don't know. But yeah, no, complete problem. Those teachers unions, and then they're always donating to like super leftist organizations, and the right leaning teachers like, excuse me, this is what our fees have to go to, and they're not into what the NEA does, but they like have no choice but to have to join the union. I have a relative not in New York, a relative in Kentucky who refused to join the union. And instead, like to punish her, they sent her to the worst schools that they could possibly do. So it's really a lot of coercion that's happening with the teachers unions. How are the lunches? So Lunches were pretty nice when I was in high school, but by the time I taught, it was after Michelle Obama changed the lunches, and they just were not the same after that. They were very disappointing. They used to have like slushies when I went to high school. Oh my gosh, did I just date myself? That I went to school before Michelle Obama's programs. But yeah, she really ruined the school lunches. Samuel Blumenfield wrote books on education, including a primer on phonics for tutoring. Okay, so Samuel Blumenfield. Okay, so he's like legit, like real good teacher who knew. So who was there for the purposes of educating the students, not for the purposes of like, why are people, these kind of people, the bad ones in teaching? Because it's like, okay, control, power, and indoctrination. So here's a guy who actually cared about education instead of indoctrination. And phonics feels like a lost art. Like I remember having phonics books in schools, and I'm sure they still teach it, but like it doesn't. I don't feel like kids have the grasp on it like they used to. Oh, you got stories for me? I gotta hear them. I'm curious. Oh, you could smoke in class. Okay, I'm like, how old are you, Brian, that you were able to smoke in class? Or was that just like the alt school thing, the alternative school? So like where it used to be like people used to go to the alt school, I think now in the county they try to push kids into BOCES, kids into the trades, which is nice because at least you come out with a certification. It sounds like The Wire. Oh, what sounds like The Wire? Which thing? Oh, the smoking in class. Oh, or the New York City schools. Yeah. Oh man, we're going for 2 hours. I I am starting to fade. Am I about to crash from all this fast talking and then just going? Oh, okay. So it was the alt school thing, and okay. So I'm guessing. So I'm trying to think. So that would have put you in school in the late '80s, right? Okay. So alt school, and then in the '80s. Now, now it's making more sense. That's wild. It's so hard to imagine that was a um that was, allowed. I was just also thinking about when I was in high school, I'm like, there was a certain place right off the property where people would go to smoke. I'm like, I don't even think kids smoke anymore. I was thinking about this the other day. I think they just went straight to vaping. And it's like, which one is worse? Are SOLs still a thing? I don't I don't remember or know what an SOL is. Can you spell it out for me? I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So you know what? You live in the extremes. Is that it? Well, you know what? So your age is the average of your two behaviors. There we go. But Mr. Okel, tell me what SOLs are. I don't it's not clicking. Did I ever skip class or was I very goody good? Well, I never was somebody that liked school. So that's my thing. I hated school. I hated being there. So I mean it wasn't a lot because like my school really like with that new administration when I came in cracked down on everything. But like I wasn't somebody who was into my studies and I hated being there and wanted the perfect attendance. I could really care less. I was so laid back and could care less about it all. um and I still, so I guess, I don't know, I don't know, cracked the system, came out with a decent enough grade to get a merit based scholarship, part scholarship to college. So I don't know how to answer that because I definitely wasn't the kid raising my hand and was into it. I was like the miserable kid who looked like they were dying. I remember one time some teacher was like, "What's wrong, Pumpkin? You look sad." I'm like, "I just don't like being here." He's like, "No." He's like, "Is everything okay at home?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I guess because of whatever way I looked when I was in class. I'm like, "No, I just don't like school. I don't like being here," which is hilarious because then I went and got 2 degrees and then started teaching. Ridiculous. Um, standard learning test or something, that big test at the end of the year. I think it's different state by state. So New York and California uses the Regents exams. So that's what we were using in New York. And it had to do with like at the end of certain like course sequences. So some classes every year you would get a Regents, like you would take a Regents exam, which is the state exam after you did took biology, you do a Regents exam after you did earth science, did a Regents exam after you did chemistry, you know, each of those for a year. But let's say math, you got the Regents every 2 years. So it kind of in New York is different. And you know what? To me, the Regents was a relief. And you only took one English Regents during your whole high school career. But to me, the Regents was a relief because I felt like the Regents was playing at being able to pass the city kids who, like we said, a lot of those inner city kids in these horrendously governed cities that are ruled by, you know, this NEA dictatorship, you had to kind of lower the standards so that they could pass. So the Regents would be easier than having a final from your teacher. So when the Regents are there, I'm like, great, easier than a final. So I like taking a Regents, but that was what we had. I mean, I guess they could have been hard. I don't think, well, I didn't like my math Regents. I've never been a math person, but yeah, but all the other ones, the history ones and stuff was easy. Oh, The Creature from Jekyll Island, about the secret history of the founding of the Federal Reserve System. Man, that's something I have to get into. I know somebody who on TikTok, she has a whole series on it. I think her TikTok is it Julie with the red hair? But she's done a whole I think, I don't know if she calls it a journey to Jekyll Island, whole TikTok series, and I think she put it on YouTube. Really worth checking out. But yeah, I'm sure it's the same thing from the book. Re-effing ridiculous. Glad you got out. Good on you. Oh, what's ridiculous? The Regents or just everything? I know the whole system is just absolutely ridiculous. It's so ugh. I can't imagine putting children in that system. And I'm no offense to those of you who have their kids in that system. I understand not everybody has the ability not to do that. But like, so, you know, I don't judge that. But what I kind of do look critically on are the parents who know something's not right in the system, parents who then have that ability to pull the kids out and educate them themselves, but still won't do it because they don't want to give up their luxuries in life. They don't want to go down to being one income. They don't want to, you know, give up the vacations to wherever, you know, even though they know something is wrong and they have the ability to do something about it. That's where I go, what's wrong with you? I know, it's ridiculous, right? I didn't like school, so I became a teacher. Well, I guess because like I would have fun talking to people like this and exchanging ideas, and I enjoyed teaching Sunday school. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's different if you're a teacher, but I'm like, you still got to be in that, yeah, that teacher system. I know, but isn't that like absolutely ridiculous? I'm like, I didn't like it, so I came back and I worked there. Oh man, I did not like math. Very stuff. I enjoyed up until trig. I did not like math. I did not do well in math. It never clicked. I mean, as a kid, it didn't come super easy, but like I was absent with chickenpox the week we learned multiplication in third grade, and it was all downhill from there. But what was incredible was my first year of college, I took a math class with this teacher that like all of a sudden it made sense. It was amazing. Math never made sense, but all of a sudden it did, and I could do it, and I did well in that math class, and I was completely shocked by that. So that is wild. So maybe it just depends on who teaches it. I wished I had taken calculus right after with her. But I'm like, oh, I don't need it. And then I ended up then that ended up a whole long thing. But I'm like, wow, maybe it just does come down to the teacher sometimes. Hating school and becoming a teacher was with the hope to change things. Yeah, maybe it was the hope to change things. But I think sometimes like, you know, some people have in mind what they want to do, but I guess like, I don't know, I had to choose something and do something. So it sounded like a thing that maybe I would enjoy, but like I didn't realize how much the system sucked. Maybe I kind of knew, but I didn't completely get it. But sometimes, but you know, it's like we have to make those mistakes. We have to make those things, I guess, as part of our journey to get us where we are. Cause I'm like, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been miserable enough to find something that I truly love. You know, acting. I love acting. I wouldn't have had that courage to get into it unless I was really miserable in what I was doing. Of course, now COVID and everything and mandates have brought those things to a standstill. But still, I'm like, okay, having to do that whole teaching thing, I guess was part of the journey. It got me to where I am now. Yeah, get it from the inside. I know, right? It's like, you think I don't know, does every young person think they can go in and change the world? I don't know if that was my intention. I think I just didn't know what I was going to do. So, like, that just seemed like a viable option. Mathematics is God silent. Ooh, John, like oh man, you got a lot. You're coming in hot with all these great recommendations. You're a wealth of knowledge on this. You sound like a very well-read and well-researched man. Mathematics is God silent. Ooh, that title sounds good. So the Titanic sinking someday paved the way for the Federal Reserve banking system coming about. Yes. Oh my gosh. I know, when I heard that, I was like, what the people that were going to fight the Federal Reserve or were against the formation of it all happened to be on the Titanic, which sank. Convenient, right? Everything's intentional, right? Many rich people opposed to the central banks were on that boat. I know that says a lot. It's very interesting. Hey, Maddie, how's it going? Hexaglen. Oh, sorry. You're saying hi to Maddie. The sphere of influence, the heliocentric perversion of the gospel. Oh man. Yeah. I know, John. I'm like, you dropping your hints to me with that. Because you know where I am with that. Good news. My sister taught me how to create video shorts about Hex tonight. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I cannot wait to see your video shorts. I really do like the short format. I think it's a really great way to get bite-sized information across. Like, I kind of started experimenting with that on TikTok. I wasn't entirely sure how viable that was on YouTube, but like now that I'm seeing it pushed, I'm like, it's probably a great thing to do right now, because if they are pushing it that much to creators, like, I keep getting emails about to do shorts, do YouTube shorts. And that means the algorithm's going to push it really hard. So I think right now, anyone who wants to do YouTube shorts is a great time to get into it. Honestly, I think that might have been part of it too. I forgot about that. I think I love that idea. But it's like, but the summers off really make up for a miserable rest of the year? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Shorts are nice and short. Oh, if I ever get a TV pilot, man, that's the dream. It really is. They allow people to work. That's the problem. That SAG-AFTRA is a nightmare at the moment. Oh yeah. Conveniently, he wasn't on the Titanic. I know, very convenient, right? Oh, why does Maddie not have a wrench? I will have to give Maddie a wrench. I don't know. Sometimes I overlook things. So Maddie, I will get you that wrench. So, we had another little bump in of viewership. So I guess one of the streams ended. Though I'm probably gonna hop off stream soon because I have to go pee pee. And I'm cold. It's cold in this bedroom. I have a really cold bedroom. Where's the temperature thing? I had a temperature thing up there. But I don't know. I can't see it from here. But when you live in an old house, it gets chilly. So I'm gonna go lay under 10 blankets and watch Call the Midwife. Plenty of filming in Oklahoma. That's the wonderful thing right now, where so much filming used to be concentrated on just like the two coastal markets, mostly LA. Now we have filming markets open everywhere, and you have certain states giving certain incentives. So it's incredible now for opportunity, because I think there's more television and movie content being produced more than ever now. Unfortunately, we have this gatekeeping happening with the brainwashing that's going on. So that's what a lot of us have faced, if you get my drift. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Oklahoma seems like a great place to film movies. It's just, I'm so excited about the fact that so many markets now have opened up, and that there's so many more opportunities just outside of New York. And the fact that what's really cool about this too is people were already doing this, but the pandemic has really opened up the opportunity for self-taping. So you used to have to just run back and forth all over the city or whatever, going to auditions, your job, whatever. Now you just get to stay home and send in a tape. That is pretty awesome. But sorry, I'm just catching up here, guys. The greatest lie on earth, proof that our world isn't a spinning globe. Oh man, John. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I know you're not gonna rest until I'm a flat earther. Like I said, I'm open. I'm open to whatever shape the earth is. I just have to see something that like really convinces me. Oh, Austin, Albert. Oh my gosh. New Mexico filming, I've heard is incredible at the moment now. I have a friend who's done really well in that market. Oh, you know who also filmed in that market early on? I think in their first season, Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles. I'm pretty sure they, some of their locations were Albuquerque. Crypto Journeyman, good night. Is that, oh, you're saying good night to me? Are you heading out? Yeah, I know, because I keep saying I'm going to leave, and then I keep saying on. And I'm sorry, I told you that I was going to go potty because I drank a lot of water. Was that too much information? Is this all the caffeine in my brain? Is this the, I don't know. You just don't hop in a truck if someone says we're going to the train station. Oh, wait. Is this a reference? Am I missing something? I feel dense at the moment. But yeah. I haven't been in a train in a while. Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you to say. I appreciate that. You know, that's the dream. You know, and it's not like, because when it's such a, like when you find something that you love like that, it's so enjoyable just to do. It's enjoyable to be on set, to just be breaking down a script and just doing that kind of thing. So I'm like, I'm not somebody who's like, I need to be famous, I need to do this and that. No, I just want to work. So like when they let me, when they open this stuff back up, I hope so. I can't, yeah, can't wait. Great show, Ash. Thanks for a great Saturday night with friends, and thanks for the bonus second stream this week. Well, thank you guys for coming to that random midweek stream. I appreciate that. That was fun. That was fun to do. And I appreciate that you guys are cool with this format of being like, let's talk about everything weird. Let's talk about all different things, wherever this goes. I like this, and my brain seems to cope well with it. Okay. You guys conspiring to convert me to flat earth. I'm not okay with that. No, like I said, whatever. I'm open once I see something that convinces me. As long as it has gravity and we don't fall off it. Yeah, as long as we don't have to fall into the sky, I guess, you know what? Whatever it is, it is. I live here. That's all I know. Gravity has never been proven. I know it could be magnetism. It could be electric universe. Yeah, honestly, I don't ponder it too much. Again, I feel like it's a distraction to keep us like thinking about that and not other things. Oh, bloodlines of the Illuminati, that sounds right up my alley. Oof, my voice is cracking. Sorry guys, I'm getting sleepy. Bloodlines of the Illuminati, oh my gosh, this is something that's really been on my mind lately. It's like when you talk about a spiral, duck hole spiral. She questions the globe that's pretty much in it. That's pretty much in it? What do you mean? In it? Or that we're in it? I don't know. Remember my vase that looked like that I have on the other shelf that looks like a globe? I like that vase. Okay, that was a Yellowstone reference. Okay. I haven't seen Yellowstone yet. Oh, well, thank you for being here, Torin. The world is hexagon shaped. Well, you know what? I'll hop on board with that. If that means that we go to the moon, then it is hexagon shaped. Yeah. Oh, great stream. Glad I found you. Have a good night. Well, thank you for finding me, Doug. I'm glad that you're here. You have a good night too. Not flat, definitely a hexagon. Hey, at this point, okay, what am I going to say about this? At this point, I'm more likely to accept that. You know what? Because I was, because here's the deal. Flat Earth Dave, I just wanted like a casual fun back and forth with him, but he came at me pretty aggressively. I'm sure because he's used to being attacked, But when somebody comes at you like that, I have to say that delivery was such a turnoff. So You know, so it's kind. I'm kind of at the moment. So that's why I mean, like, I'm more likely to go with the hexagon because I didn't like the delivery. It's a turn off. I don't want to say I'm spiteful, but I'm hostile. So because I just wanted to have a cool back and forth about it. Like I'm open to discussing it, but then when people want to come at me like that, like I said, it turns me off from wanting to look anymore into something like that. But hey, the good thing that came out of that is I met a lot of new people through that who are still with me today, and that I am grateful for, and that was really cool. So that made it worth it. Beehives are made of hexagons. That is true. I had a UK candy last week that had not beehives. It had honeycomb. I don't know, but it was good. You watched that launch? No, I didn't see any launches. No. Um, I didn't even know that there was a launch. I feel like they're always launching something rocket-wise now. There's only one way a flat earther comes at Globers. Sorry for that, Ash. Yeah, see, I didn't know that, but it's okay. I mean, but it was like, like how when I have a guest on here, I just like casually chatting, and that's what I thought it was gonna be. Like, I thought I made that clear when I reached out to him, but I was like, oh, this is the way they come at you. All right, because it was like I felt like I said to you guys, I believe the world is a globe, a spinning globe in space, the heliocentric model. But I'm not completely tied to that. Like I don't really care what shape it is. So if like somebody showed me enough evidence to the contrary, or something that satisfied that for me, I would be cool with changing that opinion. I'm okay with that. And I thought I made that clear to him too. So that was like when you come at me so aggressively about that, as a human, that just makes you go recoil and not want anything to do with that. And like I said, I didn't realize until then that that's unfortunately how they come at Globers, because even like the comments are like that. Or I didn't know that he was then taking that whole recording and putting it on his channel too, and like some of those comments of what people made about me, like that I was like this idiot, boo. But I was just more like, I was so taken aback, and I'm like, this wasn't the conversation that I expected. And they're so freaking hostile in the comments. So those of you who kind of came here from then and that were nice and kind to me and cool, thank you so much. Because like I said, that was a little shocking. Yeah, that was like, oof. Oh, thank you. No, and see, the thing is, like, John, Brian, the fact that we see differently, you guys are cool about it. You'll show me other info, you'll tease me about it, but you're not coming at me like Flat Earth Dave, and I appreciate that. And like all those other mean people in the comments, like, because we don't live in an echo chamber. It's nice to be able to just have this exchange, and I appreciate that you guys are kind and respectful about that. Like, truly, I don't mean that lightly. Yeah, you're here because of Dave and glad you stayed. Oh, so that's how you came here. Okay, I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, so that was the cool thing that came out, is that I met so many new people who were just cool people who weren't all about attacking me, who just wanted to hang out. We're cool with that. And so I'm like, that is what made it worth it to me, meeting you guys. Yeah, Rags and Maddie would be a good guess. Maddie, if you're still in here, and I had wanted to ask you about that, but I know you're busy with your recovery. But if whenever you want to come in and talk about weirdness, you are welcome. Yeah, and I will reach out to Rags about that. So shape is irrelevant from down here. Yeah, and I understand, the meaning of that, what it means about the cover up and everything. But here's the thing, I know the government's dishonest, and and I know that that my belief is, I know what my faith is, so I don't need the earth shape to tell me that. So that's why I'm like more casual about it. I'm like, whatever, either way. Yeah, and as long as our maps still work, as long as I could still hop on ways and get where I need to, then it's all good. Yeah, he put this stuff on my channel. I didn't know that. That's not right. Yeah, I saw that. And the thing that it kind of made me feel weird, but I'm like, well, I guess, well, because the thing was like when, you sign up for his form for that, there wasn't a consent form anywhere for that, which is weird. But like, I didn't say anything after the fact, because I'm like, well, I guess he came on my channel, so I guess as a courtesy I have to let him do that. But it just felt weird, because it like, okay, so maybe more people got to come over and I've gotten to meet more of you through that. Maybe some of you came from when he had reposted it on the channel, but it kind of threw me off too because it left me open to a lot of attack because I felt like it was mocking, like, look at this idiot that he steamrolled over. And I'm like, no, that's not what it was about. I just wanted to chat with you. So that was what made me a little uncomfortable. It was, it was that being, I mean, and I'm not like I'm overly sensitive, but kind of, you know what I mean? Leaving somebody open to that attack was I don't know. It made me uncomfortable. It left me with a bad taste in my mouth. So yes, I do hold on to that idea of the globe earth because I haven't seen anything kind of to satisfy what I want to see to believe otherwise. But the other thing is, I think because that experience kind of did put a bad taste in my mouth, it kind of just gives me an aversion to ever wanting to talk about it again. So it's a process. It took you 2 years to accept this truth about the lies of this world. And like I said, I'm cool with going through that process if I saw what I wanted to kind of satisfy that, like, okay, now I get it. But again, it's kind of hard where you've been turned off from it because of people's behavior. It got to be a little too much. Like, man, that was oof, a lot. After listening to Missing 411, I am not going camping anymore. Let me tell you, I've never been into camping, never liked that idea. I used to volunteer at sleepaway camp upstate, but we were always in cabins or in like a dormitory. I would never camp outside. Yeah. And then especially now that we know what happens if people camp outside, absolutely not. The rainbow made of Skittles. All that food coloring though in the rainbow. I mean, it doesn't sound too appealing. Oh, cool. Yeah. So we'll connect over Twitter and hopefully we can figure something out that works for both our schedules. Calm down. Imagine ocean sounds. No, I am calm. This is just New York, right? This is, yeah. Or Italians. What do they say? Italians are always so loud. Why are they upset? Half Italian. I don't know, but no, I am calm. No, gosh, what would be me not calm though? Yeah, rudeness was uncalled for, especially because he's so kind and friendly. Thank you. No, and like I said, it was still worth it because of being able to meet those of you guys who did come over here. But it's hard because if you want to get a message across, you have to be careful with your delivery, because it's going to turn off a lot of people. People should have an ability to disagree, but express ideas freely. Yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong with having a difference of opinion. I just think we have to kind of not come at each other. We have to be, respectful about it. Italians are direct, I guess so. I mean, I don't want to be like one of those people who are obsessed with the Italian culture and Italian American and The Godfather is my favorite movie. So I don't want to, completely blame my behavior on, but yes, the genetics are in there. Truth be told, it gets worse. No one likes their ball taken away. Like I said, I'm cool with whatever at this point. Like nothing is surprising anymore. But I'm sure, yeah, both sides it gets extreme, with that. But that's why I'm like, whatever it may be, I kind of feel like the push of talking about it is like a distraction that the powers that be want. Because if they can keep us fighting over that, then we can be distracted. But yeah, like that they like us fighting over it. So instead, it's like, no, let's not fight. Let's just all kind of agree to disagree. A Goomba, no. See, the thing is, you get like those Italian Americans who've been here multi-generations that like to say things wrong and be all like, that stereotype. And then you get like the more recent Italians who are like, so I'm like, no, I don't want to be associated with those. No, I'm first generation on my mom's side, born in the US. So yeah, so it's not that stereotypical kind of Italian. It's like, yeah, legit. Yeah. Pretty legit. But I think I will bail now. I'm getting really cold and the sweat is not warm enough. It was a hand-me-down from my friend. I don't know why I just said that, but yeah, my first time wearing it. It's pretty warm, but it's getting too cold in here. watch Dave's debate with Professor Dave. It's a spectacle. I watched some of it, but it was like, yeah, it was like too much back and forth and them going at each other. Yeah, I think it was like too much of a spectacle, but I did see like some of it when I was trying to kind of prep for you know, kind of get my background on him for meeting up with him. But like it's an interesting experience, you know, it's cool stuff to talk about. I just think, you know, be nice to be able to have like a calm, peaceful discussion about it without, you know, the aggression. My next trip to New York, I think I will show you proof that it's flat. If you're up to what, if you could show me undeniable proof, then I am cool for it. I mean, cool with it. I am game. Like I'm not like so turned closed off that I can't accept anything. I just want to see the right proof that does convince me. Um, Oh no, am I giving you Sopranos vibes? Look, okay, let me neutralize myself. How do I neutralize myself? Does this sound not New York? And then I can't talk with my hands and my body language. Um, I don't know. It was funny because at my sister's wedding, I was talking to people, and my uncle walks up to me. He goes, "Look," he goes, "You might not look Italian, but he goes, when you look at your talking, your body language, you can definitely tell you are." I know, but no. It's also my fault because I am easily distracted. So I keep pulling myself back in and keep coming back in. But yeah, now this time I will head out. But yeah, but thank you for being here. I feel like this is the first time you've hung out in the live. So thank you. And yeah, and thank you to everybody else who is new to the channel, has just recently subscribed. If you're not sub, please do give me a sub. I would love that. Sub and a like. Just think of you as Morpheus from The Matrix, warm and gentle with the delivery. I like that. That's a good thing. Yeah, Morpheus is a nice guy. That's a good way to put it, John. And I do think you're a nice guy. So thank you for thank you for being the Morpheus of the live chat. Flat Earth you can live with, but not flat beer. Yeah, I can live with the flat Earth. Just don't give me I don't know. I don't drink beer, so never mind. But yeah, no flat beer for Hex Hoddle. Flat beer is a no. I mean, beer does not taste nice. First of all, I can't drink it because I can't do gluten, but it doesn't taste nice as is with carbonation. So I can't imagine that it would taste nice flat. Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. I know, and I keep pulling myself back. I keep pulling myself back in. But yeah, so it's a compliment. It's a nice compliment. Yeah, that the fact that I keep getting pulled back in. Oh, or the Italian thing. Mm-hmm. You are definitely Italian, not a bad thing at all, just saying. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess the stereotypes freak me out a bit. I'm like, I'm not the stereotype. Oh, thank you. Oh, well, thank you guys for being here and for all the support that everybody's given me. You know, thank you guys so much. Because okay, I was about to say I couldn't be here without you guys. Yeah, I mean, I could be here talking to an empty room and an empty live chat, but that wouldn't be as fun. I wouldn't have as much to talk about. So thank you guys for being here, and so I can bounce off of you guys. And thank you to everybody who watches in the replay too. Oh, so Mr. Ogle is calling Oracle. Okay, so I gotta brush up on my Matrix, so I know. I do remember the Oracle though. So who would I be? Okay, I'll have to rewatch the Matrix. You really don't do beer. You drink vodka when you want a real drink. So one of my friends is into the cran vodkas. That's all I know about it. I'm not into drinking. Never got into it. Thank you for the 2 this week. Well, thank you for coming to both. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Yeah, and I am going to get under 10 blankets. And I hope you guys stay warm. Or if you're in the Southwest, I hope you stay cool. No, though, it does get cold, though, this time of year. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good night. And I will see you when I see you next week. Or maybe if I do another one, I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a good night. Bye.